Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the NECC, where Counter-Strike is kicking off with the grand finals. My name is Vincent. Join. Get the bag, Mark. Welcome back, and Mark, I'm excited to be here. It's going to be a fantastic time, my friend.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be back in the office with you. We've been casted since last time we were rocking some collegiate Counter-Strike right before the break. Us Americans are back from the holidays. Our bellies are full, but like, dude, we've saved some room for hopefully 5 maps here in the grand finals that we're gonna get. That's gonna be hopefully really juicy. Vinny, it's just great to be back.
Yeah, I'm pumped up for this. This is it's a spicy matchup, to be honest with you. We got the Ashland Eagles up against Cumberland Phoenix, and I think that in general, this is shaping up to be a grand finals to remember. I mean, you and I both were talking in the green room discussing that, hey, this could be a reality where five maps are possible technically. And I don't necessarily know if we're going to be making it that far because there are some complications to this whole thing. We got some rosters and there's some changes on the screen. If you've been watching, especially on that Cumberland Phoenix side, Mark, there's a big missing piece, isn't there?
There definitely is, and I have a way of like, pulling this up. Vincent, you were familiar with the bowl game system that happens at other collegiate sports levels, right? And when,
Oh, yeah.
traditionally maybe in football, there will be a player that's like, oh, I gotta opt out of this game so I don't get hurt so I can still get drafted high. The shooter, unfortunately, it's not for so much of a positive sentiment like that we don't have them here. For the holiday season, they had to get home, and obviously, unfortunately, we cannot have them here for this game. So there's going to be a step up, Vinny. It's going to be all requiring every single Ashland Eagle out here to make up for this, Cumberland Phoenix to, actually pull this off, because Shooter was going insane in the playoffs before this. I mean, was such an important fight of this, but I don't know. You're going to have to see Jay Chronic really lift up here because this team needs some firepower help.
Yeah, listen, I mean, listen, Shooter, he was a huge part of the capability of this team. I feel like the way that I tended to put it was that, he could bail them out of situations if they ever got into a bad one or finish rounds off, need it be necessary, that type of thing. He was an all-rounder, a guy who could do just about anything that this team needed. That loss is certainly significant. Let's be real. But
Yeah.
I don't want to take away Morg. I know you won't know, but that's another Val guy who
Okay,
has
cool.
who has a lot of significant firepower behind his name as well. So
Cool.
I think that you can't necessarily have crazy expectations of somebody who's quote unquote a sub, but I know that Morg is super capable. So I don't know how exactly that's going to translate into CS. I don't know if he's been playing a bunch of CS in the meantime or not. But what I do know is that I've seen this guy be able to shoot hard, and I don't think that's going to change moving into Counter Strike. That being said, we do have a veto to go over, and for me, when I was thinking about this veto, I think there was like one thing I knew for sure, and that Cumberland probably needed to avoid this ancient. And that's exactly what they've done to start things out. I think that makes a lot of sense. What are your feelings looking at how this thing went down?
Really quickly running into it, when you get like this, especially cinematic mirage up second, we know this is going to be probably some ridiculous circumstance that we've seen Ashland on it at like a variety of regular season games. Just go the distance with that. I think early on, it's kind of anybody's series with this. I think very, very much I'm putting the expectations, of, where we would probably regularly walk in here for Cumberland. I think Jay Chronic probably gonna like take that like spiritual role of where Shooter was sort of, laying at the top of the scoreboard, and then everybody else is going to kind of flood in with him. To be honest with you, Vincent, I just wanted to touch back into it before I get like too big into the veto situation. This is a situation that, like, from when we were reading about it, it probably has been kind of clear to them. So I bet you he has been hitting the DMs, getting as prepared as he can be, right? Because I'm not about to come in here, and you put a lot of respect on his name, but this is a championship they are coming into to sub for, so you better be ready, right? And that's that type of quality I think we're going to inspect. So if you're coming in here and really having to like maybe set up a new player in air quotes to it, I don't think you're really getting too complicated until the end of the series here onto an overpass and a train, which, I mean, in a 3-0 fashion we could not see, but hey, I'm not here for that.
Yeah, listen, I think, I think there's probably even more to say on that side of the equation, but I want to kind of move to the other side here and talk a little bit more about Ashland, because we've seen this team a lot. I mean, you and I have gotten the privilege to watch them work hard all season across this competition and others in order to get to this point. And I think that they're a team that's well deserving of the respect that we're giving them. They come in, they made their way through Group C. They only dropped a single game during the regular season, same as where Cumberland were in Group B. And I think that this team, what's really impressed me, right? I think that, you bring Ho back. This is a guy that's hungry, that wants to make this happen. I was really impressed with the likes of, SML, the Fishman. Both of these guys have been so incredible. Specifically, I thought SML was like incredibly strong at being able to find ways to claw back rounds that were already lost, or if there was like a 3-on-4, 3-on-5 type situation, that was the guy who you could look for, as well as Fishman, who I think the amount of times that we saw this guy just have a multi-kill round was crazy. So I think that this Ashland team, they have been showing that they're hungry, and I think that they're ready to pounce on a potentially weakened Cumberland Phoenix. That's at least the vibe I'm feeling coming into this.
There is a lot of those different layers to peel back, and where especially I think you're speaking at a lot of good attention for an Ashland team that was at least much cleaner into their last, end. I mean, before, it seems like they're a team that's very much used to like the three mappers going the distance. Vinny, they had one that was, really, really tough versus UT. They had one versus UBC Elite. They had one versus Ashland, and that was the, one we were referring to a little bit earlier when they played in the regular season, right? That one included Mirage. We know that for a fact. Having a little bit more trouble getting the rest of the information on those vetoes would be great to have now to see exactly how that shifted out. All of those really close in the regular season there of a different league.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe shifting focus back onto the way in which Ashland have made their way through. I mean, listen, it was close the whole way through in these playoffs, right? They beat UBC. That was a three mapper. UT Varsity, we had the privilege of casting that one. We know that team was not rolling over. They put up a real serious fight, and to be honest with you, there was times in which in that series that it looked kind of like Ashland might not get there. They did.
Yeah,
they made it there in the end, and that's what leads them into this grand final. The difference between this grand final and the rest of the season, and any other competition, it's a best of 5. It's about more than just coming in and finding, this is our map, this is your map, and then we play a decider. This is about, it could be a knockdown, drag out fight that takes a long time. It's about keeping yourself fresh, getting into the mix, and making sure that you're playing at the height that you can for as long as you can. And I think that the fact that Ashland has had to fight over, 3-match series consistently in this playoffs, I think that's going to serve them quite well, considering that now they're in for a long haul, or at least that's got to be the thought process. At minimum, we're here for 3 maps.
Yeah, I think that, that's probably exactly where they're, taking this thing into just the early stretch and getting really excited. I mean, to be honest with you, like, let's say it gets a lot harder along the way, if like Cumberland do end up picking up a map here earlier in the series, I just really doubt their protocols are going to be that smooth playing with Morg on such a complicated map that could be the CT rotates of Train and Overpass, right? I feel like that could definitely throw you for a fuss, and where you could probably pull it out on a Dust 2, pug your way on a Mirage, which, like, look, I've already kind of put that up to concern versus this Ashland team. I think where, you said the mentality is here for 3 maps, I think they're ready to rip the roof off this place and show us what they got here, immediately gunning into an Inferno that they pick into, right? Which is really the exciting part, where Fishman and co can actually get their feet wet right away. I think this one is going to be really fun to see this Ashland team actually come together. I want to see a ho-ho amazing game, Vinny. It's going to be probably really great for them to look across the line and, think, hey, we get to play a Valorant player in the championship right here when it's all on the line.
Well, I mean, listen, that's the thing, right? There's a history of Cumberland. The reason that they've been able to kind of rebuild so quickly, kind of talking about picking up the pieces, right? This was a squad that, Rexo and Peachy were a part of, but the trio that went over to Radford, we got to see those guys in action over at Radford, but like, that's a huge gap that was left, and it was filled in by some of those guys that are coming back over from Valorant, like Jay Chronic, who, like I actually said, I mean, he's a collegiate legend in many ways, in my opinion. Went from a leader of one of the best West Virginia teams to then coaching this Cumberland Valorant squad before moving back over to CS. So like, I think that when it comes to that, these are guys that are going to have a lot of experience together. I think that really adds to it. But in addition to that, it really adds to the storyline of this Cumberland team, who have had to fight their way through problems, difficulties, and losing their entire roster basically at the beginning of this semester, between spring and fall in this semester. Like, that's crazy that they're into a grand final, considering that's where they were just 4 months ago.
And like understanding those set of circumstances is like, now do I think they're gonna let this, and we're gonna like, definitely kind of, pull this in a hyperbole of it not being, as large of an issue as it actually probably logistically is going to be, but pulling in how you pitch it, right? This is gonna be exactly where it's gonna be us ignoring the fact that, we're probably coming in here with a pretty talented FPS player. It looks like they have like a pretty decent amount of like Face It officials played. Looks like they're level 8, like grinding in the pugs. I'm assuming that's where, mostly they've been getting their feet wet for the last week. Hopefully playing actively in those Cumberland scrims as well to like really get indoctrinated into the team, right? Because I'm talking about this overpass. This train is probably, somewhere where I'm really going to get concerned. But like, an underrated map for teamwork is really Dust 2, Vincent. And it's like, is he going to be as actively communicating, trying to like really work within this? He's probably a guy that's, probably going to stick him on long over on a B anchor spot, somewhere where honestly other players are probably gonna have to fill in more role wise for shooter. Maybe you're gonna remove your anchor player and actually have this substitute player there. There's a ton of options that I'm flooding through, and honestly we're gonna get a really good idea of it either way you start off on this Inferno, which it's probably gonna be on the T side for them, I think, which is probably the betterment of it. I want to see what attitude the sub has shooting into it early, because let's say they go and just absolutely look in the aim category like you put them, Vincent, crazy, then we're back on.
Yeah, listen, I think that it's interesting the way that you've put that, because to tack on in addition, on an Inferno, on a Mirage, on a Dust 2, you can kind of like basically point somebody in a direction and say like, this is the fights that we're looking to take, and go from there. It can get more complicated, but it doesn't have to, right? But think about maps like Overpass and Train. That's the back half of our best of 5. If we get there, I think that's, as you were kind of highlighting, the worries. And to dig a little deeper into that, why is it a little bit more of a worry? Well, you really have to be more self-sufficient on both of those maps. On the T side, you're going to be tasked with taking some map control, sometimes relatively alone. And on other situations, you got to be able to set yourself up, not be the one dying early or playing for success early. It's a much more difficult situation. So I'm again, definitely talking about things that we don't have any certainty about. What I do know, though, is that the back half of this series is going to be tougher for Cumberland than the front. Though, on Overpass, I will mention, I think we saw Ashland play Overpass against RIT in the regular season here at the NECC. So, if I recall correctly, that was the map that RIT picked up early in that series, if I'm remembering. So I think that there could be some potential question marks about that if we're there, especially considering that Cumberland was willing to pick into it. I mean, talking about like a guy like Jay Chronic leading this team, bro doesn't mess around. He's going to be doing the prep. There's no question about that.
That's a good point. That's really a good point. I feel like, having that, just with your experience pointing to, you just like kind of listed his accolades a minute ago, former competitor at a different school, coach over here within the Valorant division, and now popping back to playing. I think that this is a guy that probably has been in a dozen of these championships, and coaching or not. So I think that this is probably, a reason where, even talking about, where we saw some of these players playing at like Ragadelphia Knoxville, back in September, if I'm correct, with that core. So I think this will be, at least for that sense, the trust of, this core of players coming up and lifting up the sub, I think could be, very exciting. But, where it does come to like get really interesting, I probably didn't put as like much respect on it. Now that I've got like my, brain really moving about it, I wonder we're gonna stick this guy in the CT side, amongst this Ashland pick, which is really going to get interesting here, because I'm not sure if we, have the knife round set. So that's going to be a natural way to flood this one out.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I think we've got a situation here where Ashland have in the past, in other leagues, proven that they can win against a full strength Cumberland. Now Cumberland have to do it, but without one of their main shooters, no pun intended whatsoever. And so with that being set up, for me, my expectation here, just to kind of put a pin in this and say where I'm at, I think that Ashland should be looking to close this. And that's, understanding that I got a lot of faith in basically all the X factor that everybody on this Cumberland side brings. I think that Ashland, though, are my favorites. What about you?
It's a hard way to serve it up without and even, you know, talking about where I was like, you know, trying to push this sub point out the window. This is a guy that I'm going to believe in, like, coming into a championship, and he should have the utmost confidence in himself as well. But seeing where Ashlyn has come to, like, so consistently closely take a lot of these mirages at the end, I think that, like, the storyline so perfectly lines up for them to take that action, those 3 mappers that have brought them here long through the playoffs, and maybe get out of this thing, maybe clean 3-0 or 3-1, taking advantage of Cumberland and maybe, you know, ruining the Silurenda run.
Yeah, I think that, you know, to kind of go back out a little bit and say, I think Mirage definitely going to be a bellwether, right? When we talk about this, I have expectations for this Inferno, especially for Ashlyn, and I don't really know what to expect for Cumberland. And if it is really good, then that's great. But for me, Mirage is going to tell the story about where we're at. And listen, I know that's map 2 of a best of 5, but for me, that's the biggest one. We're going to get into things not quite yet. This is a knife round that is not so real. With the pick going for Ashlyn, Cumberland would have had their choice where they'd like to start.
Actually see if I have my eyes on Morg in the server, which we would be missing over here for Cumberland. Don't tell me that the sub hasn't shown up either.
I do see that.
We'll get them back here shortly. A mess of the rosters. We'll get them reconnected. They are indeed not in the server. Not a HUD bug. We'll get them shortly. As they are, I see, attached on the Faceit page. Oh, we got a bit of a Furia spray over there, Vinny. You do your pick'ems?
I did. I have Furia 3-0.
There you go. All the NACS teams 3-0 putting through. Yep. Come on. Come on, Vinny.
Not one time.
No.
No faith.
Some
actually
birdie told me that you put Passion UA 03.
Is
That's
that
crazy,
little
man.
birdie named Vincent?
Yeah, little birdie named Vincent.
Because I remember telling you that. Interesting how the info gets out regardless. Listen, man, they ain't gonna do it. All right.
Wow.
I hope they do, but they ain't gonna do it.
I hope so too. You know.
My money's not where my mouth is, so to speak.
It'll be a good time to check out those major playoffs. It's always a good consistent key. You know, we're getting into the holiday season, Vinny. There's always, you know, collegiate finals to cast for us. And then once we're done, we get to chill and have some Christmas Counter-Strike in the major.
Yes, we do. Listen, that's actually the fact that that's relatively new. I'm loving that. I love that with Shanghai.
Really agree.
Like, that was a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did it right. Finally. Wait, it's an early start.
8 a.m. Eastern, I'm hearing. You up for that, Vinny? What's up?
I'll be up. Will you be up?
What is
That's
it?
the real
Passion UA
question.
G2? Is
Yep.
Yeah, Passion take that. And it's in the best of ones.
Oh man, we're fully devolved. But while we're here, Mark, are you a Paravision enjoyer?
Of course.
You are? Okay.
Well, I can't, like, ignore our experience casting them in the tier 2 and just seeing, like, James drop 45 kills against everybody online and just bring along this batch of youngsters. That's actually been really crazy that they've done what they've been able to do. I think that we may not see them in, like, the tier 2 events that we cast them in, because they probably farmed a bunch of VRS for that.
True. I'll tell you this, as looks like we are allegedly was getting back into things. Never mind. But I was gonna say, the fact that they've got 4 rookies and they're chilling, James stock's got to be at all-time highs, right? Like, are you selling at this point? Like, are you cashing out, or you think it's still going up?
This is, I mean, higher than where it was when he made a major final. You know, like,
I actually think it might
be. To be honest with you, like, you're probably right. Like, the fact that he's done it in the fashion that he has, rookies and all. Yeah, man, I'm breaking out that 100 Thieves checkbook. You know, in terms of pricing, I think that it's that high that they can probably afford it. Bring him in alongside what? Glaive, Rain? That's a bunch of brains.
Oh man, yeah. It's gonna be a good time.
100 Thieves head coach Glaive. Looks
Dude,
like maybe
what
got
is-
a little bit of a Rexo DC. We might need to get this thing restarted. Seems like Mr. Morg has joined the departed, Vinny.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna do here. Apologies for the delays. We appreciate you sticking with us. We're gonna get everything figured out. Once the game's underway, we're gonna jump back in here. So we're gonna hit a break. We'll be back in just a bit. All right, we allegedly have everybody in the server, Mark, and we're ready to get this party started. I'm pumped up for this. A grand final of massive proportions. We've got to see if Ashland can bring this to Cumberland Phoenix like they did previously. Inferno is where we begin.
Finally got all 5 here. And I know I was talking about Morg and his Face It rank. It's actually higher than Icy's, so. Pass your judgment how you will. The grind is on inside of brackets, and at least Morg will start off name known in the server. Chases 1 for 1, but the pit player cannot say the same. This is a pretty potent hit so far by Ashland, as even where Cumberland gets a start on the CT side. Down with their sub, Vinny. They're not holding on to the A site. Low HP here for Peachy. They got decisions to make here in the post plant.
It's a big refrag from Zion. They drop a smoke that allows them to get a little bit further out, but that decision's got to be now. Heat up a flash. Here it goes.
It's making contact top of the box. They have the smoke here that they're going to have to deal with as well, but Peachy with the dualies is going to drift on into the site. Immediately traded, and all now left onto Jay Chronic. Down with the dualies, and the Ashland Eagles strike first in our best of 5.
Great work from Ashland. Zion, that opener refrag onto Morg, immediate, and even tacks on a second before finally getting taken out there in the post plant. Ashland doing a great job, and as much as Cumberland, I kind of talked about that. I see them as the underdogs in this for all the reasons that we talked about and more. But specifically looking towards Jay Chronic as a guy that we've seen step up big time as well individually, amongst other things. Or how many smokes he got there? I think he's got 4 smokes at B.
This is gonna be actually insane if that's an accurate number. And if he were all alone, he's got the squad with him. He's gonna set up one very convincing fake upon it, Vincent. But of course, you get back from Cumberland. Even Morg with the Mag 7 in the mix. This guy's just trying to make me a fan of him, apparently. And he might get a frag. No!
Oh.
Speaking of the devil, that's a caster curse completed. But now they're behind the smoke, and you can put out one of these smokes. I think Jay Chronic is just going to let them in, and he does.
Yeah, I think this is the right call from Ashland. You see a couple of smokes get tossed up in a row there, and it starts to become a little suspicious. Like, why are they wasting so much utility? Why are they investing so heavily on a ground where they could have such limitations? And I think that when they make contact in the apartments, they realize it's probably a whole lot of fakery going on there at B. This retake does seem like it's going, though.
Long range on some of those Mac 10s, and you turn the corner. It will get a little bit bloody, maybe too much. Jay Chronic will tap on the bomb. Does have a 5-second potential here with his kit, but SML will make sure it's no problem. Finds him off of the bomb, finds Ashland a second round.
Yeah, the word you use, bloody, I agree. A little bit more bloody than I think Ashland would have liked, but at the very minimum, they've bought themselves some time, a little bit of space, considering this will be an eco for Cumberland. They don't have much to bring to the table this round. I've said that. Morg has forced a auto shotty.
Dude, this guy is the GOAT. I'm not even kidding.
This is all it takes.
2 shotgun buys. Morg's debut is already up. It's looking pretty deadly on B, though. Second Molotov, help. That was an HE that was bouncing off that wall instead of the flash. You might have seen 3 frags. This Mac 10, about to make a whole lot of money. People are blind and jumping in each other's faces. SML right around that corner. Morg getting active and getting ho-ho out of the conversation, but the bomb headed back towards A. Morg, the hero to this round. If I were Zion, I wouldn't want to face this shotgun. That's exactly why. Morg turns the corner and has to provide, has to listen to the aggressive ear. And right now, it feels like Cumberland should get here before this smoke does go down. It's a bad smoke into library.
It isn't great, not perfect by any means, but it's allowed enough coverage for SML to get the site proper. The Fishman now locked in, looking for this coverage. It's the auto shotty coming back porch side, but problem is that range just ain't great. Now, resmoke going to make SML's life even more hellacious than it already was.
Mac 10's round that corner. Mr. Chronic, what do you got for me?
First name Jay.
Last name Chronic. A little bit of a Kiddington. Won't quit. It's the P2K. Can put 2 away and maybe a defuse. Maybe in my dreams. Ashland are winning these rounds, but not by much. Again, surviving with 1 player.
Yeah, and listen, it gets even more interesting because Morg was the one who was really under threat there because he forced the auto shotty, but he got 2 kills. So that's $1,200 extra that goes into his bank account. He's fine. More damage, as you highlighted. Ashland not in a great space. The good news is they had 4 SMGs last round, so they had a little bit of extra residual cash. It all comes out in the wash market. Ultimately, a huge gun round upcoming with a lot on the line.
Ton of attention to the top of this rope. Ashland have been loving themselves a bit of a B default at the beginning. So far, I'm really satisfied with where Cumberland stood. You just see more getting active there with the shotgun. I know that sounds a little bit funny, but there's clearly some confidence there, Vincent, and isn't afraid to get active in this grand final to start. I'm a fan of it. This B site, they have to find out how to really kind of hold on past this 1 minute mark.
It's exactly how I'd hope to see Morg being utilized. Basically just like a weapon that you point in the direction and he's going to be capable. Right to Peachy now has an op. Definitely an added asset, but smoke lane are going to make that a little bit more difficult. The Fishman picking up his chest and they're going.
Icy tagged back down. It's just the angle that costs him. SML, I feel like that line could have been perfect from Jay Chronic. It is back towards New Box. It's a 2-way view. Back that found him before, and so it was the same in this retake. A 4v4 with Peachy right around this corner. Awkward flashbang. Gonna be delaying this for a moment, but the bomb, it's about to reach the halfway tick mark. You're seeing this boost come about in Banana, but now it's going to be bullied off. They know exactly where it's coming from, and there's a smoke in front. You're not going to be able to play that card twice, even the spam for it. But Peachy, are you even going to get another look out of this dark position? You are, but that's a guaranteed round from Ashland as they take it all the way.
And even if it didn't come down to the wire here, Ashland, everybody going to fall with that except for Ho-Ho. It was only 1 kit, and that was on Jay Chronic. He's been the kit man the whole time through these rounds. Keeping it close, Cumberland, but again, Ashland successful throughout. 8-1 SML. Huge part of this. Talked about him. Alongside the Fishman is kind of a duo that is going to be terrifying for the Cumberland Phoenix squad to deal with. Now we're back onto what is going to anticipate to be a half buy. This is actually a full invest. They've been able to get 3 rifles for it. And so you can understand why they've gone for this direction.
What a find! More, come on! That's crazy stuff. Yeah, he's been playing those pugs. Clearly, Vincent, that is a risky move that you may not see too often in officials, but it's that crazy. It will get a kill every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, that's one of those desperation type of plays that shouldn't really work all that often, but it does this time. Morg on the money, back towards B. Lurk for Ho-Ho. I don't know if he's going to activate first or last. Looks like first.
Smoke out back towards Moto. This usually does spell kind of a desperate lurk, kind of in the same sense. We're talking about the move from Morg. And this is not a time for Ashlyn to be getting
another smoke.
Like that.
35 seconds. They've got to hit through this.
Smoke in the CT. It will be Jay Chronic sliding, getting 2 frags off of it. Finally fried. SML with the bomb on their back. Does go for a double entry. No immediate boost response by Cumberland. They're waiting for this bomb to go down. Man advantage, the first that Cumberland have had in the post plant.
Yeah, but listen, the problem for Cumberland is that, I mean, a 2-on-3, it's very winnable. Ho-Ho's position's just been made known, though.
Whew, what a shot by Morg again. SML is going to have to go in the clutch and cleared out by the super sub. Got to give him that label at this point because they're second on the scoreboard. 2 J Chronic, a 3K from Morg in this round, and the defuse.
There, I think you're seeing a little bit of what Cumberland can bring, right? Jay Chronic doing what he's been doing all season long, which is being such a reliable rock for this team in any and all positioning. Morg giving a flashbang, fight out mid, a spot that, to be honest, Ashlyn were looking and waiting for. They were prepared, but a missed shot allows for Morg an opportunity that he takes and sends all the way to the end of that round. Cumberland to get onto the board. It's been costly, been tough, but Ashlyn, see how tough it has been. Their next buy includes a couple of AKs here, but an SMG and a Tech 9.
Seen guys like Morg. But you're saying he was a bit of an aim star in Valorant? That's exactly the way that you can kind of tell he's playing the game right now. But that is how he sort of seems to be. If that's the instinct, if that's how it's gonna go, then even taking the contact here and fading away, knowing that his name might need to be called elsewhere. What a play from Morg right now. Answers back from lane into the site and keeps this round alive here. Practically guarantees it for Cumberland as Ho-Ho attempts the 1 versus 3.
I mean, Ho-Ho might have the site and the bomb, but trying to get out of this, a whole different story. The plant locked in, and he makes the move.
Just trying to pre-fire into library. He's gotten 1 kill, but getting past this point with 11 health. I'm talking about impossible stuff now. There's Peachy clearing it out. 2 in a row roped up for Cumberland. Really loving what I'm seeing out of Morgan Lane. I mean, this is clearly trust given to him too. When I was watching early on, I was going, okay, yeah, maybe he's the Halls, maybe he's the pit player, right? Walking out of apartments with a shotgun in some of those eco rounds. That's kind of what that position suggested to me. But seemingly is the right man for the job in lane, Vincent. He's catching these Halls pop pretty well.
I mean, I would agree with you. And in that,
Clearly
in that
a bit
spot,
rusty, but is doing a fine job.
You know, in a spot that's really important as well. Can't afford to, you know, go down with nothing. And basically at no point has, when tested, he been in that position and gotten nothing. Ashlyn finally on a real eco here. Push down mid. It's utterly aggressive.
Chronic wants to farm it up. Man's got a 3K upon it. All the banana will be cleared out. Jay Chronic spoiled for the 4K, but the Fishman just making a little bit letting this round work. Has gotten 2 back with that P250, and well, now it's all back against Cyan, who I think has just slipped the net against Rexo. And he might be aware of such thing. Such an occurrence. Such a possibility. Catches Rexo back of the head. 1v2 now.
Cumberland got to be careful here. I don't really know that Zion has much of a chance of winning this, but it is the money that is significant. Not smoke. Honestly, it hurts Peachy more than anything else. Gives Zion a chance here. A tough one, sure. He's going to sit and wait. Not make the move through this smoke. Instead, play the time, and it's going to create some question marks. Is he going the long way around?
What a timing. He just slipped. He's going to get in between Peachy. Shadow seen. Flick recovered. All of a sudden, this lead is well within 1 round here. And the T side has been turned around.
No doubt. I mean, thinking about how much value they had to pick up from SML to get those rounds, how close they were. We knew that it could turn the tide, and the tables turned rather at any time. Can Cumberland do that? The big victory. Had a couple of those now. Been able to build a bit of an economy, but not significantly anyone other than Icy. See what this T side has prepared. Back to basics. 2-3, active in apartments. They push all the way down. Long haul at the moment. Peachy's up, set up. Crossfire as well.
And they do find a pill off of it. They've been working within these setups well to get them active in game. To be successful, takes a little bit of luck. So happened to catch a bug within the trap, and the Say site is showing a lot of confidence in what you were pointing out just last round. I want to repeat. I mean, this is the rifler spot he's playing on A right here under balcony. And he's currently playing flash for his teammate Rexo to take all of the contact right now. This advantage back into the hands. Rexo, he's just going to get stunned, but Morg turns around and is definitely going to need more than one here, but goes down only with a single kill. And Ashland, they have just turned up in this round.
It's a lovely response that Ashland just had to losing the opening duel over in apartments. Just the walk re-hit of Bracket. That's actually the perfect call considering the situation. Now they have a 3-on-3. Now they have a post plant. Sure, their HP ain't great. But there's only one nade in the process here for Peachy. Trying to get back into this. Bomb already halfway ticked. This is tough for Cumberland.
But so committed to it. Far to back out. Rolling off that contact, and now you're so far in that you find the players inside a pit. You turn it around, at least save the op. Peachy will remain alive, but there is that streak of rounds cut off. Ashland are back. We'll see if this can be as contentious of a half as many of Ashland's games that we've gotten to cast ourselves. Sort of seems like it.
Hey, Mark, back but still broke. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Not as if their money troubles get solved with everybody going down there in the pit. So Ashland actually taking a attack pause here to talk things over. I think this is one of those spots where it would be really nice to have like a nice pacey call. Something that you can have all the utility for, some sort of exec. They can use these Mac 10s or something of the sort, like a Tech 9 really effectively. Kind of the vibe I'm getting based on the way Spaz is not going to have much money. Not going to have any utility either. See what Ashland have dialed up. Cumberland. Back to their traditional setup. Off still towards A.
Raining and nading up Banana. This is just a straight up hit. Not going to give it even another moment for the contact. Even some of those smokes just had to be thrown upon the run, but Cumberland Phoenix, they're just ducking in and out of cover. Those shots being hit in the same vein swiftly as this bomb goes down, but probably with Zion enough with this AK, they can still think in their heads that they have enough to pull this away, but let's be real. 4 versus 2. This is Cumberland's round to lose. And there Rexo getting a headshot. Nubox has not been so good in these post plans, and here it is no different.
It's insane to me that Cumberland actually saved this round. I like just default thought they bought, and I didn't even look at what they actually did. But they ecoed here. This was mostly 5.7s and Deagles that they got it done with. It was an SMG as well, but Peachy's op didn't have it to do anything whatsoever. Cumberland keep it close. Lose one round, followed up with a success. And as much as I think Ashland, it's exactly as I'd highlighted, Mark. They dialed up the exact type of play that I was talking about might be the right move. But ooh, 5 AGs. Where to put those? Oh, if only they had gone mid.
We gave Rexo a big surprise. There's Icy around that corner with Jay Chronic to just complete. This is Cumberland Phoenix keeping pace. As a matter of fact, at 5-5, they tie the game.
I mean, look at Jay Chronic. I said anytime, you know, that Morg's been tested over on the other side of the map, that he's been successful. Well, here Jay Chronic, you know, loading up on a couple of ecos this round, sure, but moreover, been super good even when it's difficult hits. That last round, him getting his with the 5.7 to 16 now, Mark. It's an impressive scoreline. The stats, they don't tell a lie. Look down bottom mid. Clear indicator of a mid push, but it's just spam. Instead, they push alt mid, and it's so successful for Morg. He's able to grab one and escape. That mid smoke paying dividends both ways.
Yeah, rip off the label, man. Morg is passing next man up. Those words that we're saying, every expectation that we're coming into to see how he's going to respond to it. I mean, he is just hurtled right over. This man is sitting with like 120 ADR. Part of this Cumberland team is doing everything that he can. Looking good on paper. Jay Chronic been one that's been farming up here statistically next to Icy. Even when they're able to get a couple kills, it always feels like this B site falls. In cahoots with this A site. They just cleared back to brackets. In fact, Cumberland Phoenix aren't going to have any vision there. Potentially another contact play that Ashland are going to come to.
It's not quite contact this time. They get a flash to send him in. Don't want to make the same mistake twice, but Peachy holds the line. Didn't have a flash for the bracket side of that push.
Such a good angle, and no way! Morg just grips it right over the shoulder. Unbelievable. Can't defend that perfect pass. Goodness gracious. A 1 versus 4 here for Zion. And Cumberland are about to have their first lead of this game. Nay, that's going to go too far for his name. There's even the hop, but the jump shot not required. 6 for Cumberland out here in wonderful fashion, Vincent. This is just so great. But they're probably loving this CT side right now. Gotta wonder if there's going to be problems calling up. But if we're just sending Morgan as an entry fragger, I don't have a dream like that in sight, Vinny.
Yeah, I mean, they're using Morg exactly how I said that I think that they could and probably should. And I was really, you know, anticipating that. Him as an aggressive piece. It's exactly the type of player that he was in Valorant. Pay no attention to Peachy losing half their life. Oh, little knives out in the back.
Who did it?
Classic whodunit, one might say.
Knives out. There's no Chris Evans around to blame. Who else we pointing the finger at? Here we go. Zion with that Galil and Peachy in tow. They're at least standing and getting these frags, but on top of Cold Box, where your feet will stay. As well as the bomb back behind in brackets. Being held now down middle by Icy. I mean, multiple worries about walking back in this recovery. Gonna need something a bit automatic. And then walking straight into the line. Straight into the Cumberland hold of this first half, because they come out with a 2-round lead, Vincent. Shooting so hard. Here to earn 7 onto their T side where they need the momentum. They're moving.
I mean, starting down 4 to recovering to 7 rounds, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. As you said, though, there is question marks about this T side. How's it going to look? What is it going to be like? We've certainly seen Cumberland here before. They're capable. Able to lean on some of those individuals, and on the T side, I mean, you'd think probably could do that even more. Ashland, the preferable side now, they're CT.
those B hits we saw from Ashland so far at the end of that T half. Ultra successful. This one ugly, but pretty enough to get this bomb plant. Morg with a double entry. This guy is blowing my mind every single round. And Cumberland here, they just need to rope and drop the anchor, secure this pistol round, and that might just be the beginning of this second half of Inferno. Zion close around this corner and clean for a second. This is impossible out of this orange box position, and it is absolutely. Ashland say, worry not, we're going to refresh into the second half when we just get to shoot on the CT side, see what we got. Just wait.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Zion doing the work. It's really tough to defend against that. Cumberland playing aggressive positions as if they're just going to win the fights, but Zion serves them a bit of humble pie and says, show them the way that will go. If you play in such a laissez-faire way against this Ashland team, they'll punish you, and Zion proved positive of that. So Ashland, instead of Cumberland, going to take the second half pistol round. Ashland back-to-back pistols, able to start to build. That's certainly an asset they can have in their back pocket. Where see a force buy. Cumberland not willing to roll over and play dead on this yet. They go. They're looking towards bracket. There's a flash. No? Yes. There's that flash. Send it.
Gunning for Zion. Our MAC-10s are moving a little bit too quickly for you. Ho-ho. Overwhelmed. That seems to be the motto for this A site altogether. On a skewer, 3 of them put so close it is Ashland that have to go quickly up lane. I don't think they have a choice to let this timing go. Gonna make it known with the nade, but spotted on the jump shot. And a Molotov that you may have a gap on the left with. No liberty for that type of luck. They're just gonna have to go through, take a little bit of it at the back of this line. It is light up by Morg. It's just lightweight for him. 19 frags, the first official that Morg has played all season for Cumberland in Counter-Strike.
Man, whoever threw that molly won that round for Cumberland straight up. Crossfire was great too, but Ashland had so much utility. They had 2 mollies, 2 nades, 2 flashes. They had tons to work with. And that molly disrupts them perfectly when it comes out porch side. They get no value out of their molly. PG can swing wide, no punishment. And Ashland, ooh. I can't say I'm loving this, Mark. They know that it was close last round. And they know that they kept Cumberland somewhat on the back foot. But this force buy, it really is a very aggressive decision. One that has some consequences if they were to continue and lose it.
Look, you're not going to be alone in camp criticism, all right? You might as well be the counselor, Benny. You're going to... I don't know where I'm going with that, to be honest. Dude, this is not the time to be pulling out this buy. I really will stick up with you and really lean on that, especially after winning that pistol. Coming back around, you thought they were about to pull up into probably pretty big start to their second half. But to be honest, like, it really does feel like this could be a catalyst for crushing a lot of the monetary momentum that they could get back. I mean, 2K Eco here, you have a full buy in the next round, right?
Here's the deal, though. They are playing it a little bit close to their vest. 4 stack towards A. Leave to Fishman to make miracles over here at B, and I mean, bro can be a miracle worker. We've seen it. Unfortunately, it's not one of those times. And then Ashland are just going to pack up the bags, send them back home with a save. They'll do it again next round. And I guess if you're going to make this type of aggressive investment, getting 2 rounds of value, hypothetically, out of it, certainly a way to do so. We're in a little devil's advocate there for sure, but Ashland, even ensuring the Peachy can't farm up cash, will take his MAC-10 and save these weapons.
Because now, like, I feel like this has irked me. Now we're in the instance where we have to know really, it feels like the decision was made at the beginning of this round, right? No decision of our own. We're deciding that we can't not have this buy next round because we committed to this. We're going to have to run back this Eco round for 2 more, right? And potentially see how much we can get back from that. Maybe...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and Zion, you better chill. goes down to the bomb even, get that back. But by the time Cumberland has 10 rounds, Ashland will have their first gun round.
Listen, I think that part, having technically the second gun round, if you're talking about the second round buy, considering Ashland won the pistol, but
Correct.
Point being, if you're going to get that much value out of it, down to 2 survivors, Cumberland save 3 weapons. They can stack this up, get a little bit of extra. This has gone about as perfectly as it could be economically for Ashland. Initial decision in the question mark, but to be honest with you, the outcome has been good. Now, Cumberland just have to deliver on the other side of that proposition. Don't lose to the MAC-10, the MP9, the 5.7. And it will be that 10-6 score line. The fact that Cumberland could be leading 10-6 after losing both pistols is mind-boggling. The old 4-1 angle once again. Zion's P250 goes over towards A. Everybody else stacks the B-bomb site. Fishman's USP, the sacrificial lamb. They were to want to take this fight. But again, Cumberland, they've been making some good calls here early. And this is another one of them. Even that force buy round on round 2. I love the targeting. The spacing was really nice on that one. Sussed out the B stack, or rather the A stack, went B. This time they call it correctly again.
Ooh.
Zion's done some good work there to take one out.
Pretty quick, pretty clean. We'll get a pretty easy bomb plan here.
What?
Tapped in the back of the head. That is an AK recovered with the 3 SMGs.
What size are you looking at?
Second AK. I mean, they're just going to be right here catching it all the way up. Double nade into Pitts. It's so close to Peachy. The 29, they're going to have to rip. It's Zion with his 3rd of the round, and they have got them all. What a time to turn up by Ashland. We were diagnosing this round is done before it even begun, and yet they have it. Ashland to 7 and this CT side alive.
I mean, listen, I think that we were diagnosing that based on the facts as they were laid out.
We had every symptom.
We did.
Don't blame
Sometimes
us.
you check the book and the symptoms, they just don't add up. They don't make sense. This is one of those times. Zion does a great job of just catching a freebie on a P250. I'm not really sure what Icy was looking for, but he certainly wasn't aware that he was sticking straight out there in mid. Should have been able to take his one. And with the amount of utility that Ashland were then left with, I mean, Cumberland, I wouldn't say they had no chance, but the numbers, they just didn't add up.
Cumberland want to just fully reset this. What worked last time, they say. Gonna go into this B site, but this time there's a all worth of options to deal with. Gotta kick it back into CT with Zion, who does have everything to hold on to here. Spikes his Molotov down, no immediate adjustment, and no rotate either.
Interesting hesitation here for Cumberland because they don't have all that much left, but they do have a single smoke. They can go for the rehit. The critical decision right now for Ashland is, do they reaggress? Do they look to push back forward somewhere and take space? And the answer is no. They've doubled down, played the sites. It's just Zion here, who's had a stupendous second half already. Big piss around. He was the architect of that last round, the eco win. Now he's up to bat again. He's got to hit this one out of the park.
How long until he makes the contact? These shots at the new box his entire time have been so difficult. Here, you can call it a success. Rotates are on the way for Ashland. In such a catalyst opportunity that you have here for either side. This is the beginning and end of it all. A very big buy out of it, especially how even we are in the economics. This has got to be Ashland coming away with this one if you are pulling for the Eagles. Rexo burned out, but he pulls into the only corner he can find safety in. And yet like the defender, like Zion, is going to take this patiently, comes out, and it's too late. Ashland just find them both together, and I'm thinking the same thing. How did this come about? There was a miscommunication somewhere. Both Cumberland players peaked at the same time. One of them just needed to hide.
I don't think that's a miscommunication. I think it's a question of why in the world is Ho-Ho clearing Firebox? They mollied it. It was like fully mollied. That's just a really incredible, I guess I'm going to say smart look, just because he could have been able to maneuver around it. And the double swing together is just good Counter-Strike from Cumberland. In the situation, yeah, the hide seems to make more sense, but damn. Can't believe they don't get out of that. Cumberland, though, back at bat early. Into the op of Zion. Spaz, who really struggled in the first half, gets one too.
Now this is just going to be Bloodsport coming up lane with all of this fire. Ho-Ho is putting them away. What a hold here by this A site. Ashland putting these dots together. Rounds all the way linked. This is a tied game sitting right in front of you. Grand Final CS.
The swings, they've been big, Mark. Ashland bringing it back, getting into nice little rhythm at this point. 3 straight rounds. Had the right setup there in the apartments. Ho-Ho, he's another guy that's really stepped it up, right? He and Spaz were absentee, I think, in that first half. Part of the reason that Cumberland found it so possible to make that recovery that they did, well, no more. Not with Ho-Ho stepping up with Spaz like this. Zion, same deal. This one's an eco. Put these Tech 9s to use. That's the plan.
Be in front of this Molotov. Nope. Still take the fights confidently. And you have to. That's the name of the game. Spaz getting a double here, which is just a little bit too ridiculous. These outputs are what I was worried about. The possibility of Ashland just turning out maybe a little bit better than Cumberland were able to find the ceiling of in their CT side. They're seizing it.
Now, I seem to remember a conversation you and I had a few rounds ago about Cumberland taking 10 first. Well, look at Ashland. Spitting in the face of that idea. Taking this 10-9 lead. Broke the Cumberland economy. Last round in eco. Here's the real deal. No op to speak of, but don't necessarily need that on the T side. Zion's op, though. Bringing for a double last round. See what he has to provide. He's actually towards B. He's not the aggressive player. We've got 2 riflers up ahead of him.
Icy finds that onto Defishman. There was a follow-up spam, but nothing of it ultra successful. Meanwhile, having all of this B control means nothing if you can't get the frags. Just put out of it. Where is Cumberland gonna press next? Don't tell me SML is gonna get active here. Just jump spotting responsibly around that B corner wall. Flashed up to take that peek out of library. They call arches clear.
This could be explosive. We've got Bracket. Wonderful smoke. J Chronic's ahead. Maybe, yeah. They have the vision. No reason not to. This will be a guarantee on this A site.
And now is the time. Zion swings over, and even ahead of the smoke, they are skewered. Zion, what a hold from Moto. And Pitt takes care of every other problem. Ashland, they are 2 rounds away from taking their map selection at the beginning of this best of 5. Inferno was the first card they pulled.
Yeah, Cumberland catching some breaks in that round, but it doesn't matter because Zion stands a cut above the rest. With Ashland now in prime position to take this thing all the way to the house, cash in for first map victory. It's they who take the tack pause, but it's Cumberland who I wonder what the next step is. Because they've hit a little bit of a hard ceiling, right? Morg struggling to get activated on this T side a little bit more. Still a really good stat line, but he and Jay Chronic doing the majority of the lifting in the last half. And it's been a lot more difficult to have the rest of the squad step up in this T side. Consistently getting buys out, but not all of them perfect. Seems like a classic Jay Chronic type of call for me. Go for a half buy here. Make sure you can buy next round. But faith that you can win just 3 rounds in a row to push OT.
They're coming as fast as they have the entire game. It's Rexo. He's going to be able to net one here. SML, no way! It is 4 frags forced right out of this AK's barrel. And just right around the world to avoid what destruction you would come to despise. It is Zion that will get this done. And pulling up with a championship effort are Ashland in this first map.
All that in order to get a bomb plant for Jay Chronic to go sneak that thing out of the apartments and put it down on the A bomb site. And it doesn't matter because SML, who, you know, he had an incredible start to this game. He was like 11 or 13-1, something along those lines with the stats, but a little bit more quiet in the second half, just doing what he needs to. But a 4K that keeps everyone else where they stand. Cumberland now up against the wall. They've got to win 3 in a row here. There's no questions of this, or Ashland will take the lead in this series.
Chronic down past half health. For all of the effort that his squad has put in, trying to shoot up with the sub in this sub performance that may be wasted of 20 frags. You're meeting up against the best here that NECC has to offer here in the playoffs. And pulled too far on Inferno. The feat of A will get a little bit more complicated as they go searching, rather just posted where they do belong outside of the apartments. Really feel like Cumberland could extend the game right here for just a little bit longer. Even down a member.
I agree with that being a possibility, but I'll tell you what needs to happen. Gotta claw back control here of bracket. And they have that option. Nobody's here from the CT side. Someone is split up right now. Cumberland throwing a fake towards B. Rexo tossing a full set of utility to keep 2 here, but when it's a 5-on-4, doesn't matter. There's still a lot of defenders here at the A-bomb site, and Zion, he's a premium.
"15 seconds. You also have the clock on your side, Ashland and Ho-Ho. If he could get caught here through lane, it's moments that make the difference here. Spaz, he's gonna get a double kill. This bomb, it still goes down, but Rexo, a 1 versus 4. Gonna let the step up. The most mighty play that he's had all season. Inside of this corner, he's looking for Spaz. He's been watching for it all round. Does turn it into the fish man. SML just right around this corner, and Rexo could practically smell it. The blood that was already spilled alongside this Inferno, but it's cleaned up by, you know what? 7 rounds in a row. You can count them up by Ashland to win the first map in our best of 5.
Very impressive recovery situation there in the second half for Ashland, who, listen, they won both pistol rounds, and when you set it up like that, it doesn't seem like that big a deal. Obviously, they won, but, you know, losing the second round in the second half like that, it could have set up Cumberland. We were seeing the visions of that possibility ourselves, but yet still Ashland able to solidify, bring it back. Big step ups for Spaz and Ho-Ho specifically in that second half, Mark.
I was really impressed. And I mean, I can't say that without, you know, acknowledging the other half of what I'm talking about. You know, Ashland was 7 rounds in a row there, but, you know, Cumberland starting off the way that they were, down 0-4, and still able to, you know, net up what they were in the first half. I mean, really good games out of, you know, the players that were, you know, really challenged in this one. It just so happened to be Morg. I don't really have concern for the rest of the team, like, you know, being below and, you know, worse, you know, statistics, but, like, Morgan was challenged and put up 20 frags. Like, as far as the, you know, firepower, it's not what Shooters was, which was, you know, consistently dropping 30 frags, it almost felt like. But for any other player's metric, like, I think he did an outstanding job here. So 13-9 is where that gets so close to you, but clearly there was a problem there that they couldn't fix, and it was a 7 rounds in a row problem. So hopefully that doesn't extend into Mirage.
Well, Inferno set clearly there for Ashlyn. We've got Mirage, as you say, coming up next. It's Cumberland's pick when we return from this break. It's been a fantastic map number one already. Ashland looking like they were, I'd say, a little bit shaky there at the beginning of the second half. Not quite able to close the first half in the fashion that they would have liked with a little bit of a deficit. But ultimately, they brought it back. 13-9, the final scoreline mark. I'm pretty happy with the way that Ashland showed themselves. But they've got a Mirage upcoming. It's absolutely one of the biggest, heaviest hitters for this Cumberland Phoenix unit.
You see this like look I have on my face? You're serving me up like the most fun point I get to make. Is that not Ashland? You know, what we just saw, like taking them a little bit to get revved up in the series. I feel like in the map, so to speak. I mean, even when you kept it to a close 7-5 and even, you know, winning out like those last two rounds, I think that like it was pointed in that better direction kind of constantly, or rather I think it was at a 5-5 to where you had their opponents, you had Cumberland win out that first half, which was really surprising, right? And board, you gotta like tip your hat to them. Had a ridiculous first game. So as far as fragging on Mirage, go ahead and let's see it. But I mean, goodness, Vincent, if Ashland are gonna be, you know, at least pulling up with a consistent key, you have all of your individuals here. I think that this is, you know, just as far of an easy protocol to push this like any regular season Mirage that they've gotten. Cumberland here. We did speak about how we didn't have the full information of the vetoes from last time, but this is the only map that we had confirmation on them playing. So here's the rematch of a close Mirage.
Remind me and everyone else.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I believe it was Ashland. That's very crucial information.
It is?
To that result. That was Morgo all the way up catwalk like this. I'm yapping. Things are happening, Vinny. But Peach under trouble. Bomb inside of this corner. And now realizing it, just going to have to go and get a little bit shifty, swift into the site here. But Ashland right around this corner. They've got two players, call it three, into the market. And they are right where it takes place. Ho-Ho trying to line this up and just deletes him. Jay Chronic with this bomb planted at default. Pretty sure this is gonna be your demise. Rather, I'm wrong about that. Not wrong about the result, though. Ashland 1-0, and they carry on their 8-round win streak from the first map.
And also perfect on the pistol rounds as well thus far for Ashland. And Zion specifically, I think he's got like 10 kills almost, or something close to that in pistol rounds thus far. He had a triple in at least one of those and a double in the other one. That's like 8 kills for this guy individually on these pistols. He's been a critical piece of that. Cumberland can be on the back foot. I will say this is the map that, you know, for me, this is the creme de la creme for Cumberland. You know, for Ashland, they're certainly strong here, but I'd put Ancient 1A, Inferno 1B, right? And then Mirage is a, you know, second to that pretty significantly. Hope to get a bomb plan out of that. That's the plan for Cumberland, and seems like it will be that.
Spam. Maybe even a continuation of this. P250 been picking them apart. Maybe even a ghost boost into stairs right quick, getting a little bit too cocky. SML will spray you down. The Fishman sees the crime scene. Oh, the horror.
He's checking it out. An investigation underway, I'm sure. What happened like to my friend?
Wolfwood, isn't that right, Vinny? There you go.
That's right. That's right.
We only reference 13-year-old games on this show.
Well, except Counter-Strike.
Oldie, but like a 20 goodie. 20, how many? Something. Almost 30 now.
That's for real.
I think we're like 4 years away.
I think that's the math that maths out. Peachy.
Game.
Get an op in here. Ashland have no such thing, but they do. I said it was going to have a nade to break open the smoke. Not the case. Instead, SML swinging cat temporarily will fall back. Cumberland wait themselves out some mid presence, and they got it.
Two players top a connector, and not either of them are popping that smoke. They were just waiting for a bit of something, a hint. Get back at bat, and there's the full hand. All 5 of them patting back down upon Ashland. This is a slap across the face in this big round win. And it's going to be just so perfect. Prodded like that. Cumberland, they lifted themselves back up from, to be honest with you, like the turnaround of that first half of Inferno, it almost feels like.
Yeah, and listen, Again, this is exactly how I was anticipating Cumberland potentially to use a Morg on this map too, right? Get out mid, set him up with some utility, and once they had that space, basically just walk into position to take some fights. And Morg's gonna really succeed in that type of environment, in my opinion. Certainly did with a double kill in that last round. It's gonna go back to that same well. Morg having the bomb first and foremost is a little bit weird. Nice trade from SML, but now he's got a problem, and that's the exit strategy. Back up to B, and that's the right decision. Nobody else is there. Well, that's a nice flash too. Ho throwing that flash is actually just to basically pretend as if the push down underpass came out from mid side, creating some more question marks in the head of Cumberland Phoenix. Obviously, they still got to watch the push. In fact, the smoke dropped up there.
Back turned, just a ridiculous timing that finds Morgan. That's the bomb dropped. They're chasing after it. Has to hit the really difficult shots, but hardly a problem. Really good stuff there by Peach. Just take another moment to get out of this corner, but Spaz still feeling it around.
And now that they know, I think this is basically set in stone. Nice attention to detail there for Jay Chronic. Tosses the smoke and the flash just to make sure nothing could go wrong. Round finalized by Cumberland, but it's really about Peachy. They've done a lot of heavy lifting in that, recovering a situation that was falling quite far out of hand. Ashland getting knocked down a peg or two. See an equalizer. We talked about Markel. I really think that this map, Mirage, is a bellwether of the whole best of three. If Ashland were able to find a way to win on this Mirage, I think that this series is probably all Ashland's. And that's, not to say that Cumberland are not going to have a chance on any of those other maps, but, specifically, or especially after winning Inferno, Ashland in prime position, and this being Cumberland's go-to, that's what's serious. Right here and now, you gotta keep that in the thought process. SML saved the one gun. See how round 5 goes without anything else.
Yeah, best of 5s are really not much a sprint, but it's like you're running the dang mile, Vinny. You got to make sure you are not letting it go all in the first lap. That was even a pretty lengthy Inferno to it. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. You get a lot of dust too. You can get a little reverse sweeping tin. Put a pot of coffee on now.
When was the last time you ran a mile that you timed?
Dude. I timed curious. A mile?
Yeah.
I probably walked a mile.
No,
at the gym.
Yeah, okay.
Not in, like, a long time.
Yeah, same
Probably
here.
not a timed mile since, like, my sophomore year of high school, right?
Sophomore year? Wow, okay.
Yeah. I, stopped. I only took, one real gym class. I took, another gym class during COVID. I don't know how that really worked. I, hopped into the call for a couple of minutes, and we, talked about fitness, but, yeah, I don't know. I was, playing high school sports. I wasn't trying to do 2 of that in one day. But then when I had to run the mile and go to football practice after, I was not a happy camper. No, sir.
Yeah, I, too, was not a happy camper after the mile day, plus soccer practice. Not a good one. Again, gonna send out mid here, Cumberland. A lot of their strategy on this map is about maintaining mid presence and then pivoting off of that in various different ways. Only that's not gonna quite look at the feet of SML. It's gonna survive handedly. Ooh, another miss. Windows smoke there. SML flying behind smoke at Cat 2. They
wait for it to clear. The Fishman will appear and maybe even get a third. Holding hard from the chair corner, getting those couple of frags. Putting Cumberland right into the palms of Ashland. Gonna lose this frag. Nade in hand. And Ashland, they have the rest of their men just right in front of Connector. Outside of this A site. Rotating through market. Or anywhere right here. That's on reverse default. Jay Chronic, open plant here. He'll get away with it.
Lots of util. This flash, especially for Spaz, could be big, but he's just going to take the contact, I think.
Oh, just holding hard. Almost great on the spam here. Downs Rexo, but doesn't destroy him. Gotta worry about this pivot to Apex, and that will just punch you out. It's like Chronic lands one on the chin and gets a fourth up on the board for Cumberland.
You know, it's kind of sad because Ashland did so much well there in that round. The repop in mid was really smart. The way they handled that was good. The problem is that, you know, you get one man caught out there. The top of Connector, pivot back out A when Cumberland never lose access to the bomb. You know, leave a lot of utility in a post-plant scenario. Cumberland keep walking this thing back round after round. Go up to 4. Flash into the ramp doesn't do much. Probably going to end this one here.
I think just in the transition of getting flashed into A ramp, they also caught the top of the Cumberland flash that came above A ramp. Ashland will commit to this full bit. They even have SML in the flank. That will take a second. Zion gonna wait right here. Maybe take a couple conservative peeks. Icy projected a headshot. We know these Ashland pistols are damn potent. And there's SML in the flank. They've got to communicate this because there's SML with the op. Where is Jay Chronic? Gotta search every damn blade of grass to find this man. But where does he set the surprise? 2 in a row from Connector on one spray. That's a little bit labored. But there's the captain cupping up a 5th round for Cumberland.
And I mean, Jay Chronic, to be honest, you put him in that position, I'd say 90% of the time he's winning that. His teammates did a lot of work to get him there. And the fact that Ashland had no idea where he was, that's the ticket to success. Cumberland's starting to run away with this T side, but Ashland gonna need some comeback right now. Zion gets it up. Ready's it. He's out mid. Window smoke gonna stop his entrenchment for the moment. SML swinging from catwalk. There's more to this default than just the mid presence for Cumberland. They swing their eyes out wide, push down, underpass, and 2 players out towards the A side as well. Cumberland more than mid control this time.
Watching the Cumberland just completely reset into T spawn right now. And Ashland on the investigation. This is just a little bit too perfect for them to call middle clear and get a little bit confused.
It's actually quite good. Zion's got a line here. Are they going to throw an entire execute? Yes is the answer. It's not going to be a smoke to CT.
Zion still with this vision. Not spotted by these first couple of players, but yet a missed shot. There's Morg up in cahoots with this entry. Zion with the miracle of a quick scope. That could have been this round done. But Peachy with 2 back-to-back from Apex. And it might just be a 3rd here, as you are dead coming into this crosshair. It's even a headshot. He puts it right between the eyes. And Spaz, he can get the arms on this gun. Both hands on the way out here. Cumberland, they want to stun and not lose the momentum like they did on Inferno. They're really leaving their mark on the first half here.
If you're attending a Counter-Strike 101 class, how to execute the A-bomb site, that would be in the textbook. For Cumberland Phoenix, just got to get yourselves stair smoke, jungle smoke, scale out right side, get your op posted towards CT, and Peachy, bang, bang, they're dead. There's no coming through from that CT spawn. That was beautiful work from Cumberland, and it didn't matter that Ashland had just cleared mid. Ashland getting the right information at the right time to set up the right defense, and it still doesn't mean anything. It comes to nothing. Mark, that's why it's out of the textbook. Cumberland doing a wonderful job. No mistakes, no forced errors, nothing. Ashland being frozen out of this first half right now after winning the pistol.
No signs of slowing down. Really great execute. That was even battered better by some of the timings that you did see teed up. Even signed with a miracle couple of quick scopes. It could have like gone a lot better. I feel like Cumberland had the perfect pull right there into the A site. Ashland may have just as perfect of a play served up here through B. And even the better timing with it. SML, if he turns around right now, he'd get eyes on two players going through underpass. There's a collected kill, but no information onto the second player. No one knows about IC.
He's been so utterly active. I love how active he's been on the CT side. Unfortunately, it hasn't mattered. So he had another opening kill that he provides. Escape made. No refrag available. Nothing whatsoever, but Peachy in line. Some support, and it's both kills. Morg on one side, Peachy the other, and it is a killer crossfire. 2 kills, and it's back into business, even more than that.
Fishman just against the world here. Probably the only position on A that you could actually pull this out from. Is excited at the sight of the first enemy. Moss pulls out the spray. Only for 1. This is 7 here in the first half, and goodness gracious, I feel like this is proper from Cumberland. Feels right.
About SML. A 1v3 that started in the right direction. 2 imminently clearable angles here as well.
No way that this is happening. The second contact back out from Apex, and Morg has got double-digit frag to 3K in this round. In the 7th, held on the Cumberland side. SML, a great attempt.
No doubt, man. That is SML trying to do what he does best. I talked about him as a guy that's just so capable of transforming lost rounds into wins. He's not been able to do that as much, but he's given Ashland varying opportunities. The way that he's been taking these aggressive early fights, he's been the sole rifling aggressor that's had tons of success. We go again. These underpass setups been consistent. Between that and Catwalk, something that Ashland have been doing a lot.
Morg flashes himself through the smoke here. They've identified where this rifle is fighting from. At least at first. Going aggressive in the middle. And there are those Ashland Deagles hitting hard to Fishman with that AK. Will provide. And now it's a 2 versus 4 into this A site. They do have a little bit of a lip in the Liberty taking these fights. Contact made. Rexo got to frag out and just can't do it. Jay Chronic, 1 versus 3. Feels like the Fishman may have not been spotted getting past that fire, and he wasn't. There is Ashland. That flame up for a 3rd.
Yeah, but Mark, unfortunately, Ashland, they're in the business of some miracle work. I really don't know if that's something to build upon. Ashland got to show me much, much more than that. They've yet to win a legit gun round this whole map. And that's certainly not one of them. Great work from SML. Starts to open things up as we've been highlighting. Fishman with a couple. And here's another change up. Aggressive over on the A ramp this time. They know that mid's been a tough fight, and they know that Cumberland's going to take it every round, so might as well claim some map control elsewhere in the process. So that early into these rounds, they're not just tossing utility into a black hole that is mid. With trust.
I mean, this is going to see into T-spawn, but at one point, are you going to call it too late? There's no light for this B site. It's been presented yet. But practically for the crawl. Upcat off of that connector smoke, and you know what's online. Spaz is about to be spotted, and now they're after him. 2 players confirmed here through the apartments due to the utility, and they make it awkward for themselves, as look where the fire is going to be just lying inside of the apartments. Peachy and Icy still pull themselves up from that personally. Ho-ho, decked in the side of the head, will never have considered it. Ashland with decisions to make right here. Hopefully a frag can make it a little bit easier for them. But right now, it feels like straight into the scope, and that's exactly how it lines up happening. 8 rounds here for Cumberland in the first half as Zion sprints away.
Those are 2 critical trade moments right there. Icy and Jay Chronic. Peachy able to lock down the second guy on that B bomb site, and it's Icy's refrag. Onto the right side missile pillar. It's so crucial. Again, Ashland asked to succeed in a gun round, and again, they the life marked by failure. Cumberland Phoenix been better and better. It's been those late pivots towards A consistently. We've seen that B split in a little bit different ways a couple of different times over this half. This time it's late mid. The first part of that execute is through the apartments, and that's the difference. Ashland caught transitioning. They initially did a great job, but like I said, it's that Icy and Peachy refrags into the B bomb site, and then Jay Chronic cuts the head off. Toho can't come back through Cat. Another buy, another round, the last of the first half.
SML, clean opener. As clean as they come from that type of cat peek, I'll tell you that. Meanwhile, over on the A site, Rexo walks in to the angle from Palace. Gets put in his place. Might see Ashland get a 4th here at the end of the first half.
They need it, man. And they need it big. No questions about that. 3 on 5. This would be the best recovery that Cumberland have had to make all half long.
Under Balk might be able to spot this, and there it is from Ho-Ho. So no tail end to this B play. It's all being brought from the apartments, waiting for their chance out of the low HP scenario, and won't be spotted. Here's SML, gonna be dropping them both. Riddled with bullets are Cumberland at the end of the first half. But that scoreboard riddled in Cumberland rounds. A lead of 4 of them, Vincent, and you gotta wonder if they're gonna let this one go.
I don't think so. Straight up, I don't think so. Cumberland, the way in which they're winning there is just so convincing. And that's despite the fact that SML was providing Ashland, you know, a lot of those, quote, opening kills were also trade frags, but, like, I can count, like, 4 rounds that Ashland had uncontested opening kills on the CT side that they weren't able to convert. Those are numbers that just, you know, show to Cumberland's consistent value that they're getting on that CT side, or on the T side. B-Stack dialed up here for what's going to be an Ashland B hit.
Popping in. There's Icy with the great shot. Peachy with the double. If you want Ashland to be consistent on their keys, then they've got to be shooting 100% in these pistols. And there's Ho-Ho trying to keep that line just so consistent. The bomb has been dropped inside of the apartments, and there is a damn team kill. No, not at this point in the game. In the damn grand finals, the second map's second half pistol coming down to the 1v1. And Morg just all the way back to it.
Oh, no.
And so brilliant tonight with the sub getting cold feet and thinking about what lies on A.
Yeah, overthinking a little bit here. SML just now grabbing the bomb. I've said overthinking. SML starting to clear back, sitting and waiting. In the meantime, Moore continues to walk through A. 25 seconds mark. It's going to be back to B. But the longer that SML waits for this, the more Morg realizes. Wild position for Morg here. Once his bomb goes down, timer will be started to tick, but he's got a kit and the Kevlar.
Walking this way in middle. Might take him a minute to get there. Every wonder in the world that SML has to worry about, but every advantage to set up at the same time. Here he goes. Like he was at the end of the first half from behind a bench. We'll see if he can end it the same way. Morg, he's going to put this smoke onto the bomb. There's 20 bullets in that Glock, not to miss. And now, 2 seconds away, it was the P250, and he makes it happen. SML with the 5th here for Ashland. This is coming from a 7-2 lead. This is the crawl back.
Ashland, they don't miss on these pistol rounds. It's 4 in a row. 4 straight pistol victories. Cumberland ain't no quitters. They've got a force buy already in the mix in the process. 2 scouts, 2 MP9s, and a 5.7 to boot. The presence out towards A hopeful couple of spams there from Peachy that leads to nada. This is going to be tough. Cumberland to hold on to, especially if this B site comes under fire. Chronic already half HP, and he's got the scout.
He's spamming with those pistols. Top of the connector smoke is not actually identifying much information from it too concisely. Just concerned still about everybody getting in position in apartments. Ashland just want to death ball out B. Keep it easy. They'll run into the scout. They'll run into the SMG. But rather the double scopes. And this could be your greatest nightmares. Everybody is tagged. Gotta wonder when these Ashland Eagles are going to start to get bagged. Everybody that was softened up is now taken out. Spotted onto both of these players, rotating back in to the apartments. Still one X Factor, and they're looking for him. Just spotted.
Scouts did their job. That's about the last vestiges of that. Double swing. Nice shot from Zion. The low HP is done. And Morg, I'd say he's far from this clutch, but a couple of headshots away, and he could do it.
He's got that first. No kit this time. So just gonna have to go for the clear, and SML will appear on his favorite angle. He's still in his damn wheelhouse and making it happen here. Finding wonders on the B site. Finding 6 rounds or Ashland, as they're 2 closer to Cumberland now.
I mean, this map for Ashland has been defined by SML. So much has happened, and it's been on the cusp of him. He's been required. Pistol round clutch. A second round clutch. 1v1s. Cumberland going to give up the gambit for now. Call the eco. Morg still got a little bit extra because he had the SMG kills last round. But it won't get so lucky second time around. A similar Struggles in the first half for Spaz. Ho-Ho not quite where I think he could be. Inferno livened up by those two specifically stepping up in the second half. Could be the same here, Mark.
Wouldn't surprise me. Every one of these Ashland Mirage has been filled. Whatever adjective you want to use, whichever descriptor, how they've came back with all of the drama that's seen in every chapter of these things. Now maybe the final that you have to poetically pull up to a Mirage, have some problems, and now be well within one round. Ashland, to be honest with you, I'm a bit surprised with how the beginning of this game went, right? I felt like it was this Cumberland squad that was on the way down, especially pulling the way that they were in these pistols. PG opening frag that I'm looking forward to, pulls that away, effortless, and gets eyes on 2 more players behind. This is going to be a good round for Cumberland to stand on. They are sweating the comeback.
Yeah. I don't know that Cumberland are particularly sweating. It's a team that doesn't really stumble more. That's over towards mid. He's caught SML, so now they got to go B. Ooh. Not a great situation, though, for Ho-Ho to be in, and he can't do much with it. Zion and Fishman gonna have to walk things back.
There it is. Zion and then Fishman all the way up with the bomb here. Gotta go in a clutch. Stir it up. The pot this is of Mirage. And a consistent key. 55 seconds and walking this tightrope back up to A. Fishman doubling with the HEs. Give this man a free kill. He needs something. The keys in hand. And everything practically aligned. Post plant here. That would be started from a protected plant. Would probably be the best way to do it. Just driving on by. He's going to get decked from every side. And that's a 9th. In Cumberland's angle, this looks much better.
I mean, to be honest with you, Mark, you kind of teed it up perfectly. The start of that round, talking about Peachy, looking to take that first step, flux one out. Ashland, from that point on, a little bit disjointed. SML hoping to make some magic on one side of the map. That doesn't work. Ho-Ho then pushes the smoke in order to try and create some opportunity. That also goes wrong, and the timing is off for Zion and Fishman to go back mid. They were, hoping on a prayer right there. But an exec, that's what's on the cards next. Control utility being thrown in order to fake this out a little bit. Raise some eyes towards mid. Now the smokes go for A.
We're getting ready for this by dropping this palace smoke and getting ready to just push out a couple of these flashes. Help out a default player. Get this man a couple of frags. It is Icy that is standing and protecting. He gets this reload in, but can't avoid Ho-Ho. Managing to at least trade out with those that they can see in the sight. Ashland still believing in this round. But all until Rexo peaks and takes them both out. But SML still not lined up. And a swift headshot up here, the connector! I'm just seeing it in my damn crystal ball. He knew he was the last back in CT. But where have you moved next, Rexo? Where does your net go? Where does he look? Where does he predict SML is? And just a sliver that I think SML may have spotted Rexo on. Unconfirmed.
I don't think he did. Yeah. Certainly still convinced of the CT move right now, but Rexo's repositioned. Same for SML. They both walk towards jungle. Rexo nails a shot. Cumberland, they take that one away, taking it back. Ashland, they kept believing in SML. That faith well placed, the clutches early into this half. He had 2 of them already, but a third, it's just too far out of the realm of reason, Marky. Can't expect him to do it all every time there.
Nope. But it's the blinding brain of Rexo that recovers it. What a read he has. The mind games played out here. Ashland on an eco. This was a huge turning round that we could have had for this T side, getting their money up. Now we got to see more out of these Ashland Eagles.
I think that's the turning point for me. Cumberland, I Obviously not over yet. Ashlyn gonna have at least one more big opportunity. Zion with a nice shot there on the deagle. I've been talking about his pistol. Hold on, Spaz. Where's that Glock kill happen? Over towards A-ramp.
That re-smoke at the bottom of connector. They might be able to lurk on that a little bit harder, depending on the timing. Peachy could get caught. Should have an audible cue onto SML into the window, but just juking him out. This is a little bit too crazy, and we'll keep a couple members occupied as uncomfortable, but still completing that shot here. Now back to back. We're gonna have to go and get this so seemingly separated. Long range on that MP9. Rexo sees them back out towards his missile pillar, and he's gonna protect it. Looking like Cumberland have every inch of this B site covered, as Zion tries to find a little bit of privacy to get this bomb down. Nothing will be free for that taking. Forced up catwalk into these fights. It's Rexo that gets a double up at the end of the round, and there it is for Cumberland.
Worries assuaged. There's a little bit of damage there. That Glock kill started to make me feel hopeful for Ashland. Something could have come out of nothing, but nah. Cumberland complete that victory. 3 stand tall. Team effort right now for Cumberland. A far cry from just the duo individually that was required on one half there of Inferno. Aggressive down and underpass. They push through. Nobody's here on the default. Otherwise, everybody stands tall today. What a call for Cumberland. This push mid is going to be perfect through underpass, and they've got everyone at the A site.
SML almost spams out Morg in that smoke, in that transition. They haven't cleared Firebox either. They're screaming. They're wondering where the hell they are. And they're about to be afraid. Made to fear the man out of Firebox, but guess who's predicting these things? Cumberland. They're not ready for it. Getting cut down at every balcony, but there's the back foot scene. And maybe one of the most ridiculous flanks that we've had lined up in this game. You're gonna have to line up, Jay Chronic. Take this free kill. And now you're on this timer.
Orc's got 1-2. Now they're separated, but it's a big crossfire set. There's a smoke here for the bomb. They've placed it.
No. Jay Chronic halfway there and not all the way down. He was 1 second away. But no 12th round for Cumberland. Not here. Ashland fight on.
It's 2 critical gun rounds that Spaz has had a double kill in as well. Some big impact and the awareness of the Fishman to understand that there was still a question mark. It was the fact that they never had fully cleared under balk with that smoke waterfall down to make it difficult to clear. The Fishman's awareness to clear Morg eventually. Such a strong position. Counterfeited. They get none. Ashland should be back though. Rexo not checked.
Wait for Rexo. Wait for Jay Chronic. Well, they've just rang the bell. Unfortunately, no Ashland Deagle talent to be second into the B site. Not yet, at least. I'm glad we're getting this extra mile of this Mirage. This is that championship Counter-Strike that we're bringing to you every quarter of this series, and it seems like we're really getting the most of it, at least on the back end. With another bye about to be back. Cumberland up next door.
She gone unseen. Might get him a free kill, but... And it will. Nice and precise. Won't get away with his life. But Ashland, you know, I've been telling you, Mark, this a super defining map in this best of 5. You know, not just because it's a middle ground, right? We know how good Cumberland are in this, but this is not a bad map at all for Ashland. It's towards the top of their pool. But Ashland making a comeback here, it could absolutely change the complexion. Cumberland at 11. It's Ashland who take the tack pause. But here, Cumberland know what the stakes are. Mark, it's more than just this round. More than double digits for Ashland. Cumberland set to be broke if they lose this. Now, saving a couple of guns or something of the like. So meaning more than just one round is at hand. Ashland time and time again have bet on themselves.
We reminded them coming into Mirage that we would be able to see the scenes of the rest of the series, where we were actually going to hit the mark, and Ashland reminded of that. Another Cumberland. Knowing that this is their lifeline in the series to make it 1-1, open the doors back up, pretty much hit reset and just get a completely new best of 3 to play. Up that catwalk, making this B play happen. SML, easy entry. The Morgue right alongside. Jay Chronic with a huge double kill, and what a play. He's gonna get a third here. Baskin from Get Right. He may just get this round completed. Mirage back on its feet in 4K fashion.
Jay Chronic been a man to step up many a time as we've watched him, Cumberland, throughout this season. He's been individually capable as well as a leader for this team. And that's him stepping up once again. It's two critical nades as well. The speed with which Spaz into Fishman were sending it up catwalk, they get a little bit slowed down by a well-placed nade. That's Jay Chronic who throws it. He gets lost in the process. And they never come back to clear him. 12-9, Ashland. They're on a shell of the buy that they would have had previously. 2 AKs, a MAC-10, a few Deagles, and a Tech-9. They've got to do it with pots and pans. It's 3 in a row necessary.
SML at least consistent on the key of finding opening frags, but that might be it. Icy, out of his A position, pulls off a double kill and completely flattens what was out of the A ramp. It's Mirage flattened in tow. All of the emphasis in this series, a lot of it for Ashland's sake on this particular map. We've seen them recover practically every single one in the regular season that they would have to. There's your last from A ramp, and there is Ho-Ho making it happen, but your hope's gone. They're going to be put to the rest of the series, put to this dust too, where you're going to have to stand on business. I'll repeat my statement that I just made a couple minutes ago, Vincent. Practically reset it. This is a best of 3 that you have 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely the case, and a beautiful way to do that. I think Cumberland, as I was talking about, basically at the start of this, I said, you know, Mirage going to be where we know what's what. And now we know what it is. You know, it's a new best of 3. It's find out what you can do, where you can be, how you can make this happen. That's a reality now. We're going to see what that looks like, and it's, I mean, starting anew on Dust too. That's the beauty of it, Mark. I'm very impressed with the team effort as well that was for Cumberland on Mirage. They didn't require, you know, some nuclear performance or anything to do what they just did.
That was a calm, clean, and like honestly collected performance. This was not going to be, you know, as clean as me describing like a 13-3, but as far as them really handling the site executes, especially like when you were seeing them probably in the back half of those rounds, when you were getting those double kills from Icy, a player that's been, you know, pretty particularly quiet, I feel like, on the majority of the T sides here, just because of their role and where they're happening. You're seeing SML on the other side kind of play that opposite, getting so many of those fights. That's not what you're going to be seeing at Icy. And when they get the time to shine, they're taking fights in A ramp, just sitting in front of default. It feels like we were seeing a multi-kill multiple times.
Yeah, and listen, we've had some great games, but you know what goes great with gaming? Wenzel's Farms legendary meat sticks, 14 mouth-watering flavors. Our partners over there, fantastic. I had the opportunity to try some just this past semester, and they are wonderful. Make sure you check them out. While you do, we're gonna hit a quick break with Dust 2 coming up after this. party back underway, my friends. Mark, I'm having a great time. I hope you are too, because we have a banger best of 5 underway. You said it. We basically reset this thing back to a best of 3, but we're outside of the norm, right? We don't have the top 4 maps in these two guys' map pools to play with anymore.
Top maps, whatever it is, how you rate them, Vinny. We're getting into the better maps the way we go around in this series. It's a terrible tragedy that Ashlyn had to come in here and permaban nuke. Otherwise, this would probably be a little bit more fun. But I actually kind of want to like drop that ball just seriously for a second, because I want to like pull it back to the pregame point I made about like the teamwork being really important here on this Dust 2. I think we're about to have a barn burner here on this Dust 2, just judging by the way that Mirage went. It really feels like at every single level, you're going to be seeing Ashlyn particularly gun back, because it feels like they left a lot on the table there just at the end of it. Really loving what I just saw from Cumberland here. I didn't want to 0-3, even if it was going to be 3 close maps, Vinny. Let's give these people their money's worth.
Yeah, listen, and here's something else I'm really excited for Dust 2 specifically. It's a head-to-head that between Zion and Peachy on this op that I don't think we've really actually seen. You know, both have had ops, a lot of big impact from Zion on the CT side of Inferno, a lot of big impact from to the CT side of Mirage from Peachy, and you know, on the T side it was decent enough as well. But to be honest with you, we didn't see the two meet. There was not a situation where they were actually going at each other, and I think that this Dust 2 is going to be a very different situation. I think we're going to finally see that. I'm very hyped to get this matchup because, you know, Zion can be really flashy, but I've been very impressed with how consistently good Peachy is. Really doesn't miss shots, right? And not to say that Zion has been missing the mark either. That's not the case. Yeah. But, you know, I think that the stability that Peachy has been showing has been quite impressive as well.
I have a point about Peachy, but it's got to wait here because there's a big fight that's about to partake along. Peachy, rather icy, going to be sticking around. This P2000 just seems to do stuff like that all the time. There's Speak of the Devil. Peachy upon the site to welcome them in. Open arms, that's another thing. They've got multiple players here armed to the teeth, and, well, they may just be dropping these bodies. Goodness gracious, it is that clean, but just seeing surprise, just sneaking up on these bomb plants. Got a pistol for each one of you, but yet Ashland, still, they're here shooting 100% in these pistols.
5 for 5, baby. That is exactly where Ashland stand right now. These pistol rounds have been their bread and butter. Not missed a beat. They continue to do so. It's SML who's been head and shoulders, right? The best individual over the course of this best of 5 thus far for Ashland, who continues to shoot 100. Cumberland, like I've been saying, they don't stop. Morg certainly doesn't stop with the shotguns. A shotgun on catwalk of all things. I'm going to see that down in lower, but not this time. Peachy peeking towards mid with the scout. Jacronics got the secondary. Over B. This A site left pretty well undefended. Icy's the only one here, and Molly at his feet.
Long range. Afraid that will not work out for you. Cumberland been liking going for the notion of these ideas of more aggressive force buys back into things. Good scout check on that corner.
And there's damage here. These two scouts certainly could claim some bodies. Don't count Cumberland out just yet, but this is going to be tough. Ooh, and Cumberland making a decision here that, to be honest, makes a lot of sense. It's not something that is incorrect for them to do, but they're gambling towards A, or B, excuse me. And as the smoke drops with the cross, they come back, but it's too little too late.
Easy, stacking them up, can almost turn it around. My eyes turned to the kill feed there. Seeing all of those frags come up out of that Nova. But it's no good. Nothing negotiable into the long term here. Maybe besides a little bit of hype, Vinny. Because you better get excited for another eco.
Woohoo, baby!
You earned all that money to buy another shotgun, man. What are we doing?
Nah.
Preferably the Mag 7. Sorry, I've been paid by the Mag 7 lobby to do that.
Yeah. I mean, we know. It's okay.
And it's a good check, because it actually is the best shotgun, Vinny.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Listen, I'm also bought and paid for by the 5-7 lobby, which
Oh
is
my
also
gosh.
fantastic. The best pistol in the game. 2 kills out of
no.
Icy. Slide
That's
some cash
too
my
true.
way. The same.
I think this A1S can have a good angle here. Peachy, that's very nice. These Mag 10s below the belt of 50 HP. It's standing at least with a little bit of territory of their own. Not as easy over here at the bottom of middle. It feels like Ashland are about to get a lot of this back with bomb.
It's a nice boost, but a really defensive smoke that I love from the T side. And I mean, it's not the better of these pistols, but man, is it ever going to be dicey. I set towards this B site where Peachy now lies, tucked into car. How much is he going to get checked? Oh, he's head down. Oh my goodness, this could be perfect, Peachy.
This is just too good. Be a little bit too good to be true. With the patience of virtue. And will at least hurt you in the side of the head to Fishman with 10 HP. No time enough to get back to the A site. So he will run for the hills. Cumberland on a batch of USPs.
And a 5-7. Don't forget about that one.
That's the most important bit.
Mm-hmm. And for shout out to Morg, who was able to afford that thanks to the shotgun in round 2. Cumberland take it, and Peachy head down the whole time. Plays his cards close to his chest and comes out successful. Wonderful for Cumberland, who can't make it work on the quote-unquote force buy, but they get a little bit of extra on the eco and make that one sing. And a pretty song they got going. I mean, they're going B. Question is how fast. It's fast.
Gotta clear this corner. They should have been aware after Peachy's disaster. A flying man is not gonna be good enough. Even that one came through the smoke out of the op. Peachy, what the hell is happening over there, my man? On a damn different wavelength than everybody else in the server. SML will get this bomb down now. What a threatening pose to be at. Just gets it off. And now can stand the test. They're all on the other side of this wall. And this is where it could go right for SML. A couple of nades stacked over. Not going to be hitting so close. They got to weigh down this smoke. SML. See if you can hit the spray transfer of a lifetime. They're coming flying in, and they're just going to overwhelm you.
That's great work. More thinking there's more. They're all dead. They're all gone. A great hold out of Jay Chronic in a tough spot. Goes somewhat overlooked. Peachy claims 3, but 2 of those, I think one, the smoke got broken open, but that second one, yeah, I don't really know how that happened. But Peachy, it's just that. They're on the B site. 2 straight on those victories. Good news here for Cumberland. They've made themselves known already. Check into a couple of rounds in a row. Look to Ashland for an eco.
See that typical Ashland B rush back from Mirage. Excuse me. Back from Inferno. Back in map number 1. Feels like it was so dang long ago. Though, it really wasn't, Vinny. Got more to play for to decide this championship. Peachy wants to pull it back, even without the full roster. They're shooting for you. The shooter watches along. But shot is Peachy. As the Tech 9s move, and this is going to be really rough. Not for Rexo, though. This man is ripping them apart. Making the bank happy. Pulling a couple of dollars out of those pockets of Ashland. And they all lay down. A couple of casualties in middle. Cumberland, they'll take that.
And they ought to be happy about the way that thing goes. Put it this way. Cumberland are in the driver's seat for now. But Ashland, they can have an immediate bounce back right here and now. Peachy been so critical. Look at Jay Chronic getting active down into lower. This shaping up to be more of a default, but Jay Chronic's going to be a thorn early.
And just pulls the gun. No, Spaz. He panicked. He couldn't protect. Carries back from Catwalk and will catch it. Mork just not ready for it. Overwhelmed. The damn threatening is Peachy. Back upon this pole. You spy your little eye for a B player and you come upon Rexo, who's giving you the business in every rep. They're coming after you. He goes to the back square where they're not going to be making this contact from upper. So Rexer, he goes and he gets only one. Should be enough time to at least get these rotates in somewhat close. Gonna catch this kill in the back and the retake. Gotta be on after this. No, please,
Oh.
Icy, collect the kill, and he does.
Yeah, but the retake's off. It's not enough time really to, claw your way back into this. Peachy trying to lock them out at the moment. And in fact, he's going to give up that line as well. Doesn't really want to risk this op, and I don't blame him. Not in the slightest. I think Cumberland making the right call here to save. But Ashland, that's a really well-placed couple of shots. Good clear on the back of the site. Limit Rex to just one. Peachy taking out a Molly, scaring me. But we're all tied up at threes. Eagles flying straight to victory on that one. And that's despite the fact that Cumberland had a really nice setup to begin that round. They had the cat push alongside the lower aggression. What's next? Cumberland set the op out at long.
Peachy, this could be a great opportunity to submit some cinema. Right here around this corner, it might just be dead. Overwhelmed. Cumberland Phoenix have lost the battle back at A-Long. How fast do Ashland go to the next step? Because the rotates, they're here. This isn't a problem, but back towards Gandalf, it's ugly. They provide the first set to this. Icy's gonna need some help off the flash. He's gonna be taken down. Still fishing out from CT. Jay Chronic has just gotta go at this, but what a timing. He gets off of that, unscoped, says he probably could have had a good chance to flick back for that kill. In another world, Vinny.
Snap back to reality. It's a wake-up call on the Cumberland side. Peachy able to offer up that type of defense, and it's in a losing effort as well. Certainly going to hurt the Fishman. Seems to have awoken. Certainly not bad by any means on either of those first two maps, Inferno nor Mirage, but big impact here. 4 kills last round. I thought Cumberland were a little bit more broke than they are. They found a way to get an op out and 2 more M4s. Crucially, the 5.7s to add addition to that. Walking down mid here for Ashland. Sit with Jay Chronic outside of mid door, but nobody looking to take that. Ashland's default been very effective at getting mid control here in the last couple of rounds.
There's the pull, the pop, and the possibility. Jay Chronic go and take a peek to make sure this is the real deal. Or does he prioritize the rotate? Smoke yet to come out. So that not questioned. Eyes that are going to be drawn there. The rotates are going to be far. So it all provides in the hold of the boost and a couple of pistols. And Jay Chronic can only provide a single frag here between these two Cumberland players. As very well armed Ashland Eagles show up to the B site, show their strength.
Yeah, I mean, I know Morg's kind of sticking around here, but like this has got to be a save. Morg finally going to back that thing up. So he's now in a little bit of a tough spot. On the side of the head and dead.
After knowing about Icy, who's now just going to be melted in that dang corner. Oh, after Peachy, I dare you. Disturbed member on this op, just going to be hitting everything. It is clearly a fan of Fallen. You think this guy is Furia 3-0, Vinny? Gotta. Somebody who's spraying Fury on the floor, that's what I'm saying. It was probably him.
Yeah, I think those stickers, you know, you got all the Fallen teams except for like Imperial on there.
Could have put that on the cool logo. Well, Fallen never made the major with Heroic. What a fluff.
Heroic?
With Imperial. Happy
That's
to
true.
see Crizin land on his feet there. That's a much better home for him. Enough about the politics. More about this B hit and great entries. That's been consistent, but can the scout be clean? That's another thing to be seen. And oh, I would love it. Doesn't look like I'm gonna get it.
Oh my goodness.
Smoke in the world is being put on this door. Every Molotov onto the window. They're defending this thing.
Yeah, but Jay Chronic's still getting tags through smokes, through doors, through all sorts. Ooh. Nice shot from Morg. But I don't think it's going too much further than that.
Checked again. Smell a great headshot and doing dangerous things. There's Peachy out on the lamb. I see hanging around. Walks up in the site wondering, well, where did everybody go?
Terrorists win.
Everybody getting the heck out of Dodge. Peachy hears them stomping on the way back the other direction. We're going to be living. Peachy playing a save game of Counter-Strike pretty often. That's, I mean, what you got to do to keep this op alive. Ashland start this thing off strong. Cumberland bounce back fast, but it's now Ashland who have found footing once again.
Gianna Spaz. That's just great stuff. Nobody going to be challenging upon these long corners. Cumberland ready for it. Spaz gone out of that early convo. PG been the most impactful player since the departure of Shooter. But right now, they are just burning them at every angle. Like a bully. The Eagles are at the moment. Completely wash them out in 40 seconds or less. Now got to take these angles up back towards the window. Telling Morg he's got to save.
Something
just
that
gets stabbed
Ashland,
in the back.
What they've done really well throughout this half is the way that they've handled the pace of their play. Their default's been good, but their willingness and consistent success at finding ways to get a little bit quicker in there, target that B site. Even after some early losses in that area that were really painful. I'm very happy about that. I'm a fan of what they've been doing. Cumberland keep buying because, well, at this point, they've got a little bit of extra cash and we're right at the end of the half, too. and to struggle to see them be able to do much of anything here consistently on the CT side. This could be one of those times to find some sort of victory out of a tough bye.
We're players upon this long corner. And it's a simple, as really well fitted as a play as they can call here. They're just going to go and, looking at the blueprint, they're going to get encouraged by the top of this site being clear. No op in range. Peachy just around this corner, going to have to come back. Morg wants to take a daring fight over the top, and that kill would have been so worth it. Morg, ridiculous stuff. And then Peachy on the way back. This is just crazy nonsense. Where did that even come from? Morg might be out of this thing, but Rexo has not even been spotted yet. Here's a Molotov that is trying to land on the planter. It just missed.
Rexo does damage. Nice flash, but unfortunately Icy's ahead of it. They keep moving. Get back in there. Rexo, second attempt, and Zion alone. The missed first shot. They swing wide. Peachy converts. And Cumberland, what'd I say, Mark? Would be a perfect time to find a round with limited weaponry. They've done just that. 4 rounds for the Cumberland Phoenix.
This is so impressive. You're about to get potentially another 7-5 here and seeing some inferno, I feel. Peachy warming up, 13 frags deep. Seems like that's a consistent key. Rexo is not so deep into the conversation frag-wise. Neither is Icy, but I really feel like when we watch them, they're on right now. I feel like Morg may have cooled off from the ridiculous start to the series that they did have, but, like, check your expectations. This is a sub player coming in under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, and has really done well. Opening frag, this time for Zion, which we were making comparisons in the pregame, and he didn't even stand up close to Peachy. Now it's time to see that.
Yeah, I mean, the irony is, though, that though Peachy's been head and shoulders above in the op department, Zion hasn't been necessary. This time he provides an opening. It's on to Morg, the guy we were just talking about. Peachy, oh my lord, such an aggressive angle. Thought he was catching something. That smells of just trying to do too much.
There's a big headshot.
Can't do it.
Maybe talking about that 5th inning. Done, dusted, and, well, destroyed. So it seems. But back-to-back in CT, and now pulling the plug. Burning your back. Icy. Where's the brawl here? Gonna get close here. Gotta be concerned of every cue. Now over the top, it is Ho-Ho to just lock things into gear. We're 5 rounds away being this overpass for the Ashland side that wants to get there.
Yeah, it's Ashland who dominate that first half more than ever, and it's sort of a classic way in which they get there, right? I talked about Zion being like an unnecessary point of contention here, as much as I wanted to kind of set that up as a storyline. Peachy really delivering on that, but it's SML into Fishman. It's these riflers that we know are so potent for Ashland that have put the Eagles in prime position. 8-4, sure. Now Zion sprints up mid. He's got backup.
With this shot, Ashland, you know this is where they get good. Make themselves golden. Been a platinum premium on these pistols, and so far they're pulling. Right up Cat. Around that tackle, and they are through to the next level. Gonna get that bomb plant in here easily. SML from range with the dualies. And now here is the distraction. Easy first flight. This is going to be indomitable or dusted. Here is Cumberland's first pistol round in the series at the hands of their super sub.
Yeah, it's Morg for 3 kills. And yes, Cumberland, it takes them, that is at the 6th attempt to find a pistol win, but they do get there. And oh, so important it is. That could buy them space and time to bounce back into this best of 5, into this Dust 2, where a win on Dust 2 could set them up for a 3-1 victory in this full series, really. Overpass there, Matt Pitt coming up next. SML just gets battered through the door. Bunch of pistols out on Cat.
So easily chopped up, turned into mincemeat on that dang cutting board, and they're gone. And a perfect clue. Cumberland knocking that door of the second half, and the first pistol they've gotten their hands on, they're not just gonna give it away.
Ashland will just take that eco on the chin, though, Mark, and well, here we go. Right back into it. Scout hold for the cross. Nada for Peachy. Vision acquired. 3 towards long. Ashland. The protocol nets them that control. Now they take back towards the Cat side. Pretty passive setup on the A side of this map. That's not where this attack is headed. Cumberland locked in towards B.
And a great setup that the Eagles have. An even better positioning for Ho-Ho, who is just going to be able to hit him point blank, but only a single frag. Spaz going crazy with the A4, and he would have to get a third here. Jay Chronic barely living.
With his life intact, Peachy rotating back through. Oh, no. The fact that Peachy got one there gives Jay Chronic a chance, but look at the HP. 15. Not living large by any means.
You have to play an off angle, outsmart them at this point. But even a great idea won't be able to deemphasize the importance on the HP. You can do so much. You can take the bullets here and just flick up. But here, the instant transfer. One headshot needed and just breaking the range is SML. And a 9th up for Ashland. He just had to chase it down.
Once again, they go back to that same logic. Put it in the hands of SML. I can't say it's a bad strategy. 19 frag strong. Ashland taking 9th, but Cumberland, they do have bite. Another buy, another op here for Peachy. Kept that in his hands for good reason throughout the CT side. Onto the T side. Airstriked. Poor Morg didn't have a chance. Grenades meet his face.
What a timing of a play by Peachy, who is just going insane. Breaking a new ankle into B, the entire site bruised. SML might just have to go right through. Surprise. You're just going to be dead. No disguise. Here goes Zion right around in 1 versus 4. Cumberland seems like are about to bring the heat. Hell, already have to the second half. They're turning things around, but are struggling to maybe find Zion at the end. One more bullet it will take.
Nobody. Peachy. You know, I talked about the ops and how impactful that they could potentially be. It's been one side of that equation, and it's Peachy only that has been that conversation piece. Truly stunning, that double entry. A trio of kills total there as the B site is branded Peach. Ashland have no access. Now they got no money either. Peachy. No prisoners here.
The next pull, right back up from under. And just like that, the Deegs are hitting so hard. Talked about hearing them from Ashland, but now they are blaring, and you can't help but just stare down the truth right now. Cumberland uptied long. Thankfully, they got Peachy alive.
But Zion, he's here. 2 Deagle shots already. Back into Gandalf. sprint up long. The two AKs now in position. Nice nade right on location, but it's going to be too quick for Peachy.
Gotta get this out. Rexo, knowing the wallbang potential is here. This man is just going to be on the lam, out of this sight. You can crouch for so long, but you cannot hide from Ashland, who are just here to provide. This does too, in due time. Their next best buy is led up by them. They're going to have a little bit more money to spread around due to the eco win.
Holy hell. Ashland, get that thing done. And it's Zion, who would put a lot of criticism towards here in the second half, talking about his struggles in the first, and now onto the CT side, he needed to step up. Two deagle shots that are simply sublime. He's giving them everything that they need. 10 rounds. The Ashland Eagles. And even better, Cumberland suffer a reset economy in the process. Where's that leave them? High and dry. Turning an eco round into a victory. It's Ashland, who've been making use of their talk pauses as a whole this best of 5. This grand final, they've been the ones working those. I gotta tell you, eco round, I don't think it's got legs to it for Cumberland. You know, this is 2 flashes to get out long, a smoke for the cross, a hope for a bomb plant.
Corner flash, SML will run up and check it. All of them behind that FlyQuest smoke. That's what the kids have nicknamed it. Am I wrong?
I don't know if they were the first to do it.
Okay. Fair enough.
But
probably very likely the case.
I know they definitely made it more popular. Picking up what you're putting down, that's for sure.
Yeah, the boys. Sad what happened to him in stage 2.
Yeah.
Popping out. Zion. Give him a shooting gallery, and he will show up with a damn good position. At least. Poet of 1. Jay Chronic with the Tech 9. Seems to get mine every time, he says, but not the round. 11 of those are pulled to the way of Ashland. 2 more. That's all they need.
And I talked about, you know, what a victory here for Cumberland could have meant, but let's kind of flip that on the head, talk about it from Ashland's POV as we get into a Cumberland gun round.
Uh-oh.
Or not. We're going to get into a tech pause because the Fishman has dropped. What I was going to mention, you know, Cumberland, I think this does too. What does it mean for them? Well, it means an opportunity to close out on their overpass map. But, you know, Ashland, it's security, right? Staying alive more than anything, taking a lead. All of this is huge. But also having the security of maintaining a little bit of a lead here into your opponent's map pick. That's the other side of that equation. And that's what we've got here available for the Eagles. Loving it. But Mark, I think the question here for me is what's been missing from Cumberland's T side here? Because I think they've had some nice showings. Ashland have just gotten so much value out of obviously getting that eco win, but early into this game as well, where they were able to steal away some of those rounds, keep themselves alive even in a difficult scenario. They bring themselves back to a very good half.
Vincent, you ever watch a basketball team play without their star player? You know, you try to play maybe a normal game, that 5-on-5. Something is clearly not right, man. We're just playing ball out here. But there's a big presence missing in the middle. You know, imagine Giannis is gone. You know, the bias in my direction this time. I get to say whatever I want. But you get what I'm putting down. We don't have the shooter here. I'm talking about shooter. I'm talking about the shooter for this Cumberland squad as well. Feels like all of the coal was thrown into the Jay Chronic engine. He's also got to call the game, and he's fragging really well. PG is playing so well. Morg, I feel like, is doing the most. We just need some fragging from elsewhere.
Zion is going to get that.
Goodness.
How about another? A double kill down in lower. Ashland, they swap it up. Throw a change up at him right off the back of that tech pause to Fishman's back, but Zion is locked in.
Catwalk they go. Really good adjustment by these two players who have just cut this man advantage away. Been raining this utility back. Like SML is putting up a T utility set here, but can't hit the shots. I see at the tippy top. Right on time for what I was just talking about. We need another one of these members to step up. Yet here's Zion from the bottom rope with the 3K.
I mean, Icy, he's just stepped it all the way back. He has turned this round on its head. Both walk up from Cat, both as that smoke starts to fade.
Gotta make sure you take this timely maneuver and take a free kill practically. Zion 1v1. Peach full HP. And we'll bite back towards Catwalk. Cumberland are still living in this thing.
I mean, a genuine miracle just happens there. Zion, a double kill that is so impressive. And you see that positioning for the rest of Ashland, where they've got two players on Catwalk, and yeah, they're a little bit separated, but Icy should not be able to get both of those kills without a refrag coming in. Icy manufactures success out on the A site for Cumberland Phoenix that required it. Hold Ashland off of 12, off of map point. But it's not over yet. Ashland still with a healthy economy. They get a buyback. And Cumberland ain't doing so hot. Rexo sticks with Tech 9. There's a Galil here. Not long. And now up Cat. That's the next plan. Bomb rotating back, though, through T-spawn. And it's actually going to be more than that.
SML with a great spray down. And this should be the candle lit for 12. A good walk up onto this runway and take off to overpass. A 5 versus 3 just converted. So let's say 2v5.
That's a little tougher. At least on paper. Interesting smoke, to say the least. Not gonna matter. Close the distance, and they'll get on the site.
Nice bomb plant. Patience. Name of the game. Waiting for this contact out of upper. They painted the picture of exactly where Icy was standing. He's fallen just beneath. And right now, it's going to be Cumberland bobbing up for a minute. Let's see if they can pull themselves into overtime.
Possible, yes. Probable, no. Even with the bomb plant, the money in shambles. The Phoenix. Don't think they're going to be able to rise through this. Scout, UMP, Tech 9, Galil's, it's all over the place. Meantime, a wide array of premium weapons. The Eagle side. Gotta bite up and out of this, though, Cumberland. A very prepared two-player setup on Cat.
The Poppin have the advantage of the timing, but they are just gone. Old news on this Dust 2. Check on that paper. Over on overpass, where Ashland will be one map away from winning the NECC Division 1, Vinny.
Gotta go here if you're Jay Chronic. But it's not to be. Ashland closing out a 13-8 victory on this one. A fantastic showing out of them as they bring that Dust 2 back after losing on Mirage Mark. Listen, we knew it was going to be a back and forth battle, but this is truly a bloodbath. There is nobody coming out of this perfect, but it has been so cool to watch.
No, I mean, most definitely. This is what you exactly want to see the heights of in a grand final, right? It may take a little while. It's a best of 5. This is why you're hearing, the entire Counter-Strike community go, hey, Valve, we need these in majors for, the grand finals up there, which we're going to be seeing for the first time soon, right, Vinny? So you're seeing the quality out here of it in Collegiate. I mean, we have so many stories of, in a LAN center we arrived last year at this time. We had to cast a lengthy best of 5. And to be honest with you, on an overpass that, I'm wondering if the problems of our pregame are coming up, right? Maybe the attributes of having a sub and what, flux this is throwing into the game plan. Not just playing with the sub, but having this substitute replace your most impactful player. I mean, you can only do so much.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, right? When we're talking about overpass, just to kind of bring that up. It's been a little while, so like a reminder of what those things are, right? It's a question of there's a lot of responsibilities that you're going to need to do on maps like Dust 2, Inferno, Mirage. You can kind of point more in a direction and say, I'm going to do this type of setup. We saw that with regard to Banana, or rather Mid, excuse me, on both Inferno and then onto Mirage on the T side. Like, there was a lot to talk about there. Overpass is a whole different beast where there's a lot of responsibility on individuals to know a bunch of utility, to be capable of individually taking map control and doing a lot on your own. Those are issues that potentially could crop up. But listen, Mark, we've been surprised the whole time by how well Cumberland have looked despite that. I think there's a real possibility Overpass could be the same.
That's a good diagnosis given from you, but we are just right there at the cusp of what might be our last map here in the NECC for this fall season. We got Overpass right around the corner in about 4 minutes time. Don't go far.
My therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe it, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I
Well, Mark, the way I'm thinking this through here, I think, got a couple more map sims. To be honest with you, I think that Overpass could be a little bit different than we anticipated. And you ask me why. Well, Cumberland, they keep surprising, and I think that they're going to continue to do that. But what are you seeing over there? What's your vision?
Well, before I do fully transition, I'm seeing three 13 nines in a row, so I guess that's, you know, what we're shooting for out here, Vinny. But, like, dude,
Wait,
I really think that
I think that was 13-8, just for the record.
Well, my bad. I guess I've forgotten the score, but it's all good and gutted, because if we are going 4 or 5 maps, Vinny, I might need to take care of my eyes. I might need to put in some eye drops, because I do not own any BYE blue light glasses, Vinny. You got to go ahead and find that. They're our official eye care partner over here at the NECC. And I say that because obviously here in the lengthy series, your monitor's turned up to 100%, Vinny. Dude, this has got to be, you know, one for you. Physically, I bet you're exhausted, but your eyes have got to be killed at the end of a series like this. So when you're keeping your glasses up for you, your premium blue light glasses sharpened, ready for victory, hopefully without that eye strain, that's what you can experience here if you're playing in this best of 5. But that's what I'm saying. You got a BYE. Check out those blue light glasses at bluelight.com.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important. Listen, you can forget about it easily, but cannot forget to take care of the eyes. I know more than anyone, considering I've got bad vision. The good news is that we continue here, and we were kind of talking about this being a a situation where it's how long can you be at the top of your game, right? Because this is going to be a long best of 5, a long series, and we're getting into that position where, you know, we've all played pugs for hours, but this is a whole different level of expectation and, I mean, just stress when you're talking about a grand final, isn't it?
It's like the length of time that you're taking like a high school standardized testing, you know, for college. Like, genuinely, you're sitting in there for like 5 or 6 hours all day. You know, you're watching these, like, you know, broadcasted best of 5s like we're in right now. I think are, you know, broadcast probably with a little bit less of, you know, all of the distractions that you would see like on the, you know, ESL broadcast or whatever. You see those series played all 5 maps, like, go 8 hours long, Vinny. We could be probably sitting here for another 2.5 hours if we're lucky. That's what I'm saying. And if you're a player sitting in this series, that has got to be a crazy thing to just imagine. So if you're Ashland right now, take this very CT-sided map, that opportunity you get first up here with the pistol that you've been consistently taking away, and maybe you can close this thing in 4. Or maybe we're going to go to train for the very first time in the NECC broadcast this season.
Yeah, it would be cool to see. I am potentially excited for that. But like we said, got to get through Overpass. It still is a 4-man stack out towards B. Ashland seemingly going to have the right call of this thing. Cumberland slowly walk it up through short pipe to in connector. It's a missed smoke. That was meant to be mid-sight, I think.
So at the top, they're tapping away, and they've got it. This is a very good shot, and they're running it up with these dualies. Got to fight back on this angle, and Ashland, they have every pistol but one in this series, and the start of Overpass, no different.
Yeah, I mean, heavy responsibilities. I think it was Peachy there who was throwing the utility, and unfortunately missed a critical smoke. Certainly made life miserable there for Cumberland trying to break through. The flashes were on point, but Ashland, as I said, a 4-man stack there. There's just a lot to overcome. And Ashland, they do deliver. They now take a 6th pistol victory out of 7.
What?
Been so consistently good.
I don't know what you just said, Vinny. Can you repeat that?
Nope.
Unbelievable scenes. Here comes the FAMAS overwhelmed and collected. They should have a bomb plant, if anything else. Everybody's arrived. I feel like this could still get awkward for SML. Here from the back of long bathrooms dies to this Glock, and things are getting weird.
I think the weirdness might be over. I know that there's two out here towards long, but this is tough positioning. Be overwhelmed. J Chronic's actually on to grab a SMG over in bathroom. The Heat 2 is going to go down. Smoke was on the bomb anyway. And Ashland, they right the ship after a couple of kills. Hammering Cumberland's pistols and even a bomb plant.
Saw some of the better T-side rounds near the end of that Dust 2. Icy and I believe it was Peachy converting that 2 versus 4. Majority 5 versus 3, but those are the two names doing the most. Ashland pretty aggressive. Want to see a little bit further into Fountain, but they're not forcing it.
No, and they shouldn't. There's no need for that. Break up in the squeaky door, though, and Zion's boosted. SML here. There's like a lot to like about this setup. Now they're going to double stack. They just want to maintain map control, taking positioning away from the T's at every stand that they can. Escape made. Evacuate connector. They've got themselves everything that they wanted.
Run their default like they just know. If he just knows somebody has escaped here in the connector and is hanging around. The next step that they want to find, Peachy does consider the back line. They don't actually go in to clear it. Maybe they will now, individually. A toe sticking out. See the entire body.
Hello. Back out here towards the A-bomb site. Zion on an island. They pushed him back. He's got no impact first.
Oh, he gets the spam just through the middle of the dice. It's one of the harder spams to land in overpass, but he gets it done. And that is the catalyst to what starts a great retake. Ashland are looking good.
I can't remember the last time I saw that spam get a kill.
With an A1S
Much
at all
less-
things.
Yeah, much less with a rifle. You know, with an op, you see people go for that pretty often. And, you know, a little bit of damage, too. Certainly something you've seen. But, like, that is so on target. Zion ends up cleaning 3. Ashland, off the back of him. Zion 6-1. Looking at a impressive set of Eagles that are certainly rocking early overpass. I think particularly what I'm liking is that their proactivity is there. SML, they're doing it again.
Bit of a longer spam. Hopping out to it. Escaping from what is the impending Phoenix right around this corner. Oh, could not have gone far. What am I running into the smoke? Icy doesn't acknowledge it. Wasn't as aware as I thought. There's a player that is looking at the flank from long. Maybe out the corner of the eye. Cumberland, they had the entry last time, but it did not last.
Sheesh. Honestly, Ashland doing all the right things there for the moment, but ultimately, a bit of bad luck, a little bit of quality shooting, 2 factors. Cumberland, I think, have knocked Ashland out of this round. At least they should. The fact that Zion and Spaz stuck around for this long is surprising. They move out. At least try to. Spaz will be the only one who actually makes the escape. Ashland finally stopped. It's J Chronic who does the heavy hitting. Looking likely be another buy though here for Ashland. They've got plenty to facilitate that. It'll be the first defensive op of the map as well.
Being further past Fountain. Where do they get their focus? There's the jump spot. Ho-ho. Around. Checks around that corner. And there's a big spray down. Always Zion behind. Somebody to trade.
And Zion's been on it every single time over the course of the beginning of Overpass. And he's back again. And that's from, you know, such a, I'll say, frustrating Dust 2 performance. Even despite the win. Cumberland set their sights back onto the B site. 2 are in short. Peachy going to join them with the bomb. T, Rexo, and Morg. We're going to have to break through a trio of defenders. SML has just gathered all the info in that jump.
Doesn't get better than that. Too perfect of a timing. And straight to the T. For Cumberland. Up short. Gotta tear out these players from Woodwall. And they can't even begin to dream of it. All gunned down. What a perfect batch of information just dug up there in the mid-round. Ashland. They are taking each step of the CT side so permanently. You know what's on the line here is a championship.
That's it. This is in the mind of the Eagles. Know that they're a capable team, but want to show that, prove that, be who they're meant to be. It's in their minds. It's only Cumberland that stand in their way. Rexo with a pretty limited set of weaponry with just this Tech 9. Everybody else gets AKs though. T-side definitely a troublesome one. Flash over to Long. They're going to take that. Cumberland, get out there. Meantime, Ho-Ho walks up, but doesn't make his way past E-Box.
Ho-Ho tapping up and fortunately taken out. No trade from Zion this time. Usually inseparable. But still an A rifler around this op. And on that corner, what a flick out of Zion, who is lighting up the board. Was just so close to Icy there at Long. You better hide.
I think Icy's scared, as he should be. But they continue to push on the other side.
So low in HP as well. Zion could get caught. Morg up in the sight. Got to hit a couple of headshot and is hammered. Through the first 6 rounds of this overpass. Ashland have 5 of them.
I mean, that's incredible work. I think Zion proving to be a huge threat, obviously, on that op. And then once he's established himself as a problem, he lets his AK on the site take those next contacts. It's really smart Counter-Strike. Working together, playing off of one another. Ashland doing it the right way. 5-1. Cumberland on yet another half buy. Get some pistols out. Bunch of util. All towards B.
At least up for a second, and it could be a third from the Fishman. Riding this way back to SML. Everybody is going to have their chance to go and step toe. This CT side is just so intimidating.
I'm scared. I don't know about Cumberland, but from the outside, it's terrifying. No one really heating up. Peachy struggling in comparison. obviously not had ops the same way. This T side, it's just not the, it's not the likes of Dust 2 or struggling. Jay Chronic, he's at the top of the table, but to be honest with you, it's not been anywhere close to enough. Cumberland talked about how they've not necessarily been taking a bunch of tack pauses comparative to Ashland. This time they do. It's 7 rounds in, the start of round 8. They call theirs in. Hope to make the adjustment stand, but honest and truthfully, this one's a little bit on the later side. And it already feels like Ashland have started to get this momentum going to such a degree that it might be out of hand.
Fast and easy short control for Cumberland. They may have just been spotted back. This is always an audible process. When you take short control, your opponents know it. About to be a big battle out towards long, so this fight taken by Morg needs to be won by Cumberland. It is not. SML just go maybe even further into short when queued up by his B teammates. Doesn't seem to be the protocol right now, as he just floats in between the two setups.
I mean, entirely giving up that A side. Now, pressure towards B. Spaz eating a nade. It's going to cause rotations and a smoke placed in position. Crucially, Spaz staying alive. That said, Cumberland have done exactly what they intended with this. Hold rotators down to the B bomb site.
There's Zion going and clicking in. Peachy feeling that up, wishing that they probably had one. SML also from the site. Ooh. Finally a response from somebody. It's Rexo, but with 26 seconds left and the missing link out towards long. Shoulder spotted, and now the fight being taken to you. SML has no mercy. It's not in his vocabulary. It's 7-1 right here in Ashland. They are just practically tasting that trophy now. I mean, this is such a pace, Vincent, that it's hard to not come to that conclusion.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that feeling, but I want to pump the brakes a little bit. It's the CT side of Overpass. Cumberland really only need 3 or 4 rounds for this to be a very viable T side, right? So an important piece of context to keep in mind, but as of now, Ashland do seem unstoppable. Momentum, a real thing. Even on a map that is CT-sided, even on a map that provides some of these one-sided affairs, the expectation, meeting reality, does it change? Ashland are on a tear. Slow burn. Cumberland on map control. Oho was a little bit further out towards long, but Flashbang's going to send him back. One of the more passive setups towards A at the beginning of a round that we had seen from Ashland, but Cumberland, they respect it like they had been seeing Ashland play aggressive. SML had just dropped off of a boost, looking towards door. Oho gets active again, 50 seconds and going.
Shoulder spotted. Zion even going to be tagged. Bomb back out towards B. Real deal elsewhere. And this is just awkward. The bomb is dropped in Monster. 30 seconds left. And I see a T sprinting back over to Connector. What's the plan here for Cumberland? Forced to get desperate. Forcing it out of B. It's a 2 versus 3. And this is where they need to stand up. Nades in hand. And they are just back down to their knees.
I mean, this is a shellacking. Spaz, he's got 3 kills, but he's died twice. You know, this is like not even been a problem. Ashland aren't struggling. SML is 16 kills deep with Zion untouchable. Nobody has been able to answer the call here for Cumberland Phoenix. They knew that it was going to be an uphill battle, considering that they're playing with a substitute. It's Morg who also riding the struggle bus. It's not just him, though. The rest of his team are in the same position.
Off of this pop. This is probably one of the most potent hits the Cumberland have essentially had on the same page in this map sense. Spads gonna be separated, and a post plant that is going to come in concrete. SML walks this way. A flank also forms.
Yeah, it's the swiftness of that Ho-Ho flank that my eyes are on. Especially when you look at how deep Icy and Jay Chronic are. Huge kill for Ho-Ho. Now all eyes on.
From the top pit with 2 rifles. Just shifting over. Jay Chronic with a great spot, but SML, he just can't be bothered at the moment. 18 frags, you hear that right, into this overpass, and not stopping anytime soon. Are the Ashland Eagles straight to the championship they want to go?
And even when it gets complicated, even when Ashland, the actual bomb site hold breaks down, it's mostly just based on good timing. You know, Cumberland had a couple of key flashes and one player getting caught with some utility in hand. Even when that complication goes down, Cumberland, granted they're on an eco, still not able to convert that. Plenty of money. Ashland buying no matter the outcome of that round. No bothers here. Again, aggressive. Peachy finally has an op. And there's the head-to-head that we've been looking for. Peachy delivers.
First stop of overpass for Peachy. And now they're going to be put into place. All of the lead held together. Strung along to make you believe at one point it may have been possible. You look at this series. You look at this score, rather, you wonder about how the series has been that close the whole way here. Ashland making you pay. Or map number 2 didn't go their way. They wish they had this Mirage back. And now they're making you pay for it.
I mean, Ashland putting in work on this overpass. We knew that it's definitely somewhere in the wheelhouse. We'd seen them play it earlier. In a game that RIT was able to upset them on. Eagles flying high, a double-digit showing in the first half, far beyond the sightedness of this map. A B rush called, split it up, but the op still rings true.
Tapping, spraying through to Fishman. 5 versus 3 at barrels. There is no entry here. Jay Chronic all alone. 11 rounds found in the first half, and only a single over to Cumberland. It sounds damning. It sounds very damning when you say the words, it would look good if they got even 3-4 rounds on this T side. Vincent, they're not getting close. This is Ashland just a couple yards away from goal now.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Not even close to that. And to be honest with you, Ashland, it's not overstating things to say that they have to close this, right? At 11-1, you just need a couple. And this pistol round could essentially seal the deal. Pistol round, they have won the vast majority of. Sprint up connector towards the A site, target on their back, but look at the dualies. Jay Chronic tucks into long.
No contact until it's too late. Bomb pulled, and it might just line up. Good stuff out here for Cumberland to start it off straight. Ashland holding on. Got this bomb plant in here now, but it should get caught, and it is. Ho-Ho here in a 1v3. Cumberland have got themselves a second half pistol and a lifeline back in the grand finals.
A lifeline, sure, but a requirement. If they had any chance of doing anything more here in this best of 5. A starting point. And Mark, standing in their way are an Ashland team that are deadly. Ashland, I love this from them. You know, there's two different perspectives on how to approach a buy when you have such a lead, right? You can just keep force buying and, you know, play aggressively because you got rounds to work with. Or you can just get as many gun rounds as possible because you've been dominating those. It's that second. Ashland looked to go for it.
At least the Glock got one, huh?
Yeah, I just like that quiet confidence.
Definitely.
Oh, not even worried about economic damage. He's just... Get rid of the gun. Play it into the next round. Here, Ashland, go. Loving it. Now let's see if Ashland can go ahead and stamp the ticket. You know, put something dominant in this best of three that's been nothing but close games.
Send a message. Out at the end of the season, it feels like a victory lap. The Ashland Eagles take.
I love that.
Least a T up in the connector control. They have a man that is not spotted. Peachy, gone.
Anticipation there. The Fishman, they even try to track Morg down, know that he's boosted. This man advantage is pretty prime. They've even got A control as well, so there's a pivot if they want it.
Maybe one last hit out of B for 12. Here goes Jay Chronic. Around this corner would have to create such a clutch, but through the smoke, they don't even need to see him. Ashland, they parked themselves on championship point here.
It's simply absurd that the MP9, it dinked 3 different people. Dinks for days, but no solace for Cumberland. Ashland, one step away. This grand final is theirs. They can practically taste it. Victory within one. A hard-fought season and a hard-fought best of 5.
A bit of a testy boost. That one's all the way from the back of heaven, of all places. Bomb outside of Monster here. Want to finish on B. One more go about it on overpass. Finish in style. Finished with swagger.
I tagged down Zion off angle there. They need every little advantage they can get. Bomb, actually not with the majority, still outside of B. We smoke for Monster Tunnel. Meanwhile, the rest of Ashland doing their normal stuff over here at the A bomb site, but Icy gets in front of it.
Now, here's that go. The bomb just battling still within Monster, but we're taking care of it at all scenes of the cause. Ashland Eagles have had one hell of a season, and Cumberland's Cinderella story is over. Rebuilt at the beginning of this thing, refreshed with 3 new players. Looking at VRS rules, that's a new core. Call it a new team. They had to build from the bricks and back up to a grand finals in their first season with the new project. Ho around this corner makes it a 1v2. 4 long maps, Vinny, but I think this could be the end. As Peachy approaches, as the MVP of this series, I would call him from the Cumberland side, is up at the top of the smoke and is done. The Eagles soar high in this grand finals, 4 maps deep, but the University of Ashland are here. Your NECC Fall Division 1 champions here in 2025, Vincent. They get it done.
The Eagle has landed. and a fantastic way in which to do that as well. I truly impressed. I love the way that you were talking about that as a statement of victory lap. That seems so perfect to me because that overpass is exactly what that was. At the end of the day, Ashland kind of proving that they are such a capable team, that they can reach deep into their map pool down to an overpass. I kind of anticipated that this game was going to be close throughout, but then it would get scrappier towards the end. It was exactly the opposite. And I think that's why Ashland so clearly deserved this victory. That's why, they are the champions. Whereas, Cumberland, listen, playing with the sub, I got to give them props for how well they played. But listen, that overpass, I think Ashland proved something.
Yeah, they most certainly did. I mean, that was a stamp on what was a really great run through this thing. So many times did we get to sit with this team in the crazy games and series much like this, but compacted into one, like, intense mirage most of the time was, what happened with this Eagles roster. But I bet that's a big, sigh of relief for Ho-Ho and the Fishman, SML. These players have been working so hard with Zion and Spaz to get this thing done. The number 2 team that they sit with in all of collegiate Counter-Strike, according to College Counter out here, gets it done in the NECC.
I love where we end this thing off. I love where Ashland, build themselves back, right, as a team that I think, have for so very long kind of been in the conversation towards the top, but not necessarily in the championship caliber. They get back to that level and they show who they are, what they're made of. That's the beauty to me, Mark. And I think that, the fact that we saw Mord come out here and show out well despite, some difficulties there in that last map. I think that's also impressive. I'm excited to see kind of where this Cumberland team kind of lands moving forward. But for the Ashland Eagles, I am quite happy with how they end this series as the champions. Is 3-1 and to finalize things. With all that said, Mark, we've done it. That is our season, my friend. It's been a good time.
I know, from like where we were at the beginning of September, now it's like flash, we're here and it's all the way gone. But like, I don't know, man. As far as some of the best of 5s that we've had, I think that this is by far where we've had, one of the most concise closes. I think that Ashland really had a great one out there to at least stamp it through. And I couldn't be happier to, pull Cumberland next to Ashland from where we were going from the semifinals just, a week before Thanksgiving and then a bit of a break, which, to be honest with you, Cumberland probably really needed, right? To bring in Morg to this project, right? After, in coincidence, to be honest with you, you pull up that storyline, right? The 3 players that they had to bring in at the beginning of this season, right? What's one more in the grand final? They did so well with them. Honestly, big shout out to Morg. Played exceptionally well, coming in and calling a great game, dealing with that. Rexo, I feel like, did an amazing job. Individual levels, were insanely high by Peachy Vincent, but maybe they can come back in the spring and get that done, as where you follow that path, the Yellow Brick Road, unfortunately, maybe gets a little bit bloody at the end, but they made it all the way to the grand finals after replacing 3 players at the beginning of the season. I don't think we've ever had that.
No, I don't think so at all. One last big congratulations, though, to the Ashland Eagles. They are your 2025 fall champions here at the NECC. Quick reminder, we still have some grand finals to play out. We've got League of Legends that's happening tomorrow, and then on Friday, Overwatch 2 as well. Those are the last grand finals that we have here at the NECC. One last shout out, thank you to our partners as well over at Buy Blue Light and Winzells Farms. We appreciate them. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you here next time at the NECC. Peace out and have a good night.